Today on Doomed! It is time for the last live full episode of Doomed for this year. And this episode is actually doomed with Emma Vigeland. Because on this episode, we'll be talking about Matt Binder's Twitter suspension. And I mean, I had planned on streaming with Emma for like a week or two now, and this just all happened. So now she's got to sit in the host chair and interview me. And then we'll get back to what I originally planned to have Emma on for. And that's, just looking at news in the year in review, 2022. What a year. And joining me now, let's pull us up. Well, actually just pull me up because...
you got to reveal to people. Well, you can tell. We can tell the story.
Right.
Hey.
Okay. So, hello, Emma.
Hey, what's up, Binder? Thank you for having me on Doomed, especially on this momentous Doomed episode after your Twitter saga has gone down. Elon versus
still
Binder.
Ongoing. Still ongoing.
What'd you say?
Still ongoing.
Oh, I know. The rest of the story has yet to be told. I am not coming to you in video form, and I could lie about this, but I feel like it's funnier if I just tell the actual story. I basically bring my makeup bag to work at the office at the Majority Report Studios on Monday, and then I'll bring it home on Friday. And if I have a dinner or something, I'll bring it with me. But, I play this dangerous game where I essentially leave it there all week for convenience because I don't do much during the week except for work. Well, forgot it at the office, forgot that I needed it for this. And so right now I'm kind of in pajama mode, don't, look like myself. So I decided I'm going to come as a disembodied voice for this Doomed episode. And Binder was kind enough to understand.
I have to say that is an absolute lie. Emma gave me a sneak peek at what she currently looks like, and she looks exactly the same. But we know how it is, fellas, don't we? let me break my leftist credentials for a moment and just go, women, huh?
Yeah, right. I honestly don't even wear much, but hey, it's the little things that give you confidence. You know what I mean? What should give you confidence is that you're on national or international television as a big time reporter, so dangerous that you were ousted from a major social media platform. How does it feel to be a celebrity?
Well, I don't know about celebrity, but it is wild. Someone on the Majority Report subreddit posted a photo where they said they were walking through their hotel in Dubai, looked up at the lobby TV, and they took a photo, and it was me on BBC. That's
no
pretty crazy.
Way. Yeah. That's insane.
Yeah, and they have the photo up. I mean, they could be lying, I guess, but the story seems very. I mean, if you're gonna make up a place to be. Dubai? I mean, you should have been like, I was in the Bahamas or, I don't know, something like that.
I know. I mean, kudos to the Majority Report viewer who posted that, or the Doomed fan or whoever ended up posting that. But yeah, I don't know about you. I don't have a ton of interest in terms of going to Dubai. That might be lower on my list of places that I would want to go. It just feels like a bit of I don't know. There's a lot of money, but not necessarily older culture that I would be interested in seeing. It's almost like, I don't know, Vegas International.
Right. No, that's a good way to put it. Yeah. I'm gonna assume they were there on business. Who knows? Or
yes.
maybe the Majority Report audience is rolling in dough and you guys just don't know.
Right.
Right. Who knew that? Maybe it was actually from some sort of Middle Eastern royalty who was. I was walking through my hotel in Dubai and I looked up and saw Matt Binder.
We have friends in high places. Friends in high places. How do we get those amazing graphics on the Majority Report? It's all that Saudi money.
There you go.
Or not just Saudi, but what I mean.
You just made me think. Actually, someone posted a really funny comment that I saw on Twitter. I was banned, but someone sent it to me. Um, it was that a reply to that photo of Elon Musk up in the World Cup, his box seats, and it's a photo of him just like sort of staring off into space. And someone commented under it, Elon Musk currently pondering just how to lure Matt Binder to an embassy, and that made me laugh.
That's pretty good. I mean, he really was looking like he was wearing his skin suit a little too loosely that day. It was a bizarre photo seeing him there. Well, there was one next to Kushner, and then there was another where he looked very just like odd physically. And somebody posted that screen grab of I think you should leave, where he wears the outfit. He goes, "I got too much shit on me." Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
I actually cried many tears laughing so hard at that skit. That guy's a genius, but I know we're a bit off track here.
No, it's hard to be on track because so much has gone on. I mean, like I said, originally I thought, when I asked you last week, I was like, I'll have Emma on and we'll do like because the holidays are hit this weekend and availability for people over the next week and a half, 2 weeks is going to be crazy. So it's probably the last live, doomed guest I'm going to be able to have on for the year. So I'll have Emma on. Finally, her first time on the show. She'll definitely remember her makeup. She'll be on video. We'll talk about the year 2022. We'll talk about what happened, with the Biden administration. We'll talk about, what the Republicans have done, the midterms, what we think is going to happen in 2023, and then other random stuff. And then on Thursday, I guess we should start on Wednesday because the whole thing really starts on Wednesday, right? With the Elon Jet saga. All of a sudden, Elon Musk decides on Wednesday of last week, December 15th, that he's going to ban the Elon Jet Twitter account. Now, this Twitter account has for a while now been tracking the movement of his jet using public airwaves, public information. The FAA asked for this sort of stuff, and people, aviation enthusiasts shared this stuff over, open source like waves. It's like completely easily find, like if it's either public information or whatever's not like completely public information, like put out by the FAA, it's being said over the airwaves. Like it's not something being hidden. And he banned the account after saying that he was going to let it stay on Twitter because he was a fan of free speech. And after he bans it, Twitter rolls out this policy basically banning all sort of sharing of location-based data on the platform, which, Emma, I don't know about you, but it seems like Twitter was sort of made for that sort of thing, location-based information. That's sort of where their bread and butter is. Live protests, live events, sporting events, live somewhere where you are. That's sort of their whole deal.
Yeah, it is very specific to him, because if he broadened the policy to say any location information, that might implicate some of his buddies, aka Chaya Raichik, and the Libs of TikTok hate account that he has chosen to keep up and allow to flourish.
Right, yeah, and there's carve-outs in this new policy too. But I should point out, and I got to remember to like what I have to say, because I've said this all 100 times now on different, speaking to 100 different people. The Elon Jet account and the creator of the account, the 20-year-old college student in Florida, Jack Sweeney, who was an Elon fan, not like one of these, crazy simps who like just, constantly praising Musk, but he was like a fan of Elon. And back in like January or February earlier this year, Elon reached out to him because he didn't like the account and was like, I'll give you $5,000 for it so he can take it down. And that's a business negotiation. The guy opened up a business deal with this 20-year-old, and the 20-year-old was like, How about either 50K or a Tesla or even a SpaceX internship? And I mean, if this guy was smart, Elon Musk, he would have been like, oh, this is super easy. I get the account taken down. I'll get some good press offering this smart kid an internship at SpaceX. Win-win for everybody. But no, he didn't do that. He just completely ghosted Sweeney. And so Sweeney kept running the account. And so fast forward to Wednesday when he takes the account. Musk takes the account down. Then Twitter comes out with this new policy. And again, the account was taken down before the new policy was rolled out, which means like very Minority Report-esque situation there, right?
It was a preemptive strike. It was a preemptive, right? I mean, he had some sort of kind of predictive experience where he saw doxing in the future, and so he had to ban in the present before updating the policy. And if the policy has carve-outs, that's not a policy. It's like it's just a cover your ass thing until you decide that it's just at your discretion, right?
Right. And I mean, we should note that, I've long said this whenever a conservative would get banned and complain that their free speech rights were taken away. And I say this for myself too. I mean, listen, sadly, social media platforms are not publicly owned. They're not worker co-ops, although that would be great to see one day. They are owned by a corporation or a sole individual like it is now. And so Elon Musk is the owner of Twitter, and he could choose to do whatever he wants, really. I'm not out there claiming that I'm not going to file a lawsuit like Laura Loomer did against Elon Musk when she got banned and she sued Twitter to get her Twitter account back. He's got a right to do this if he wants. He could not kick off anyone he wants off the platform. But it sort of blows up his whole free speech ethos that he claims to have. You can't be claiming free speech and transparency and then be knocking down, taking out accounts who are not breaking any current policies and then rolling out a policy to make it so you could ban that account immediately after. I mean, that's ludicrous. Just admit you don't agree with the words you've been spouting. You talk out both sides of your mouth, really.
Yeah, I mean, you also heard when you hear him in the Twitter Spaces. I know that we're kind of fast forwarding a little bit with that. But he's being repeatedly challenged by people, and you didn't, I don't think, make it into this space, but it was one of the reporters who was colleagues with someone who got banned or who was banned themselves but still had access to this Twitter Spaces and was like, repeatedly challenging him, and he just keeps going like, the policy is this policy is this. Like there's no, it's almost like his brain cannot compute having a broad set of policy prescriptions outside of his immediate impulsive whims. Like, this is supposed to be Mr. Genius, and he doesn't have the basic, I guess, 15-year-old level of functioning down on that front.
Right. I mean, it's obvious he's never run any sort of any sort of company, I should say, like this. I mean, he completely does not know how to interact with people. He doesn't know how to serve a user base or even a customer base, really. It's totally different when you're like, I guess, selling cars. I mean, usually car salesmen or what's the trope that they're scumbags and shifty and shady anyway, right? So, I mean, it's not like you got to be a good person.
But I mean, and he's not even, but like he essentially acquired Tesla from people who actually knew what they were doing and made the technology.
Yeah,
and so even at that, he's just one of these rich guys that fell into the right situation. He was around some other coder types, those PayPal vampires. And then you get there's a lot of luck involved, some smart investments, and now he's one of the most wealthy people on planet Earth, deciding to take over essentially undergo a hostile takeover of Twitter and do whatever he wants, have it be his personal plaything.
Right. So fast forward to Thursday now, the day after Elon Jet gets taken down, and I'm on Twitter at night. I was playing right before this all happened, I was playing Lego Star Wars on Xbox with my 7-year-old son, and he went to bed. Both my kids went to bed, and I go on Twitter, and I'm just looking. I think I retweeted a few people, as all of a sudden I'm noticing accounts are being taken down. I noticed, I think the first account I saw taken down was Mastodon's official account, like the decentralized social media platform Mastodon, like the Twitter alternative. Their official Twitter account was taken down, it got suspended. And then It's Going Down, this anti-fascist blog, their Twitter account got taken down. And I'm like, that's weird. And then I see Donnie O'Sullivan of CNN tweet out this statement from the LAPD stating that, well, we should say, I guess, I am jumping ahead. I keep forgetting the timeline here. So Elon Musk.
It's hard to keep. I mean, if it's hard for you to keep track, it's hard for everyone to keep track because it's been as fast moving as possible. This insanity.
Right. So Elon Musk, the night he banned Elon Jet, so Wednesday night, he comes out with this story about how his family's car was accosted in the middle of the night with his kid was in the car, and someone jumped on top of the car because they thought that Elon Musk was in the car and his family was in danger, and he blamed the Elon Jet account. He blamed Jack Sweeney. He said he was going to take legal action against Jack Sweeney and any organization that seeks to hurt him. I guess he was talking about like news organizations who were reporting on the Elon Jet thing. And so now that I got that out of the way, back to Thursday night. So Donnie O'Sullivan of CNN shares this statement from the LAPD, who basically say, we don't have a report from Musk. There was no police report filed. We reached out to him and his team, and we've yet to hear back. And immediately after I share Donnie's tweet, his account gets suspended. And I'm like, what? That's really weird. And then I see Ryan Mack of New York Times. He tweets something. I think he might have tweeted the same LAPD statement, and he gets taken down. And so I screenshot Donnie O'Sullivan's tweet. I share it, and I say, I just saw @Donnie from CNN get suspended right after he tweeted this out. And then I see a bunch of people tweeting at me, yo, you're about to be suspended. And I'm like, I sort of felt like one half of me was like, no way, I'm not that important. And then another half of me was like, oh, you're totally about to get suspended. And then lo and behold, I got suspended.
Yeah, you look out the window and there are, dogs barking in the streets, clouds suddenly cover the moon, and it just thunderclaps, and you understand it's happening.
Right. So I'm like, wow, this is pretty crazy. I just got suspended from Twitter. First time ever. I've been on Twitter since 2008. Always followed the rules. Never got suspended. Never even got like one of those like temporary suspensions. Just I never did anything that would, warrant any sort of suspension, but I got suspended. And all in all, 9 journalists, including Donnie O'Sullivan from CNN, who I mentioned, Ryan Mack, New York Times, Drew, oh my God, I can't believe I'm forgetting his last name right now. Drew from the Washington Post, he just put out a great piece with Taylor Lorenz about this whole thing. A few other, Micah from The Intercept. I'm sorry if I'm forgetting last names. Tony Webster, freelance journalist, and Keith Olbermann got suspended too.
That's what's amazing. I mean, I guess really were all of the swath of suspensions there, was that all for the same reason? Was that all because you shared the LAPD statement or a screenshot of the tweet about the LAPD statement?
No, that all looks like that's just a big coincidence.
Wow.
But it was 8 of us initially, and then Keith Olbermann got suspended for tweeting that we should that everyone should share this because he just saw that we all got suspended. So he was part of the group that night, but he came a little bit after. He wasn't part of the initial swath of people, I don't think. Unless he knows his tweet that was from an earlier time period. But I'm pretty sure all the people who got suspended, their tweets were from December 15th, not the night of December 16th like the LAPD statement was. So, we're suspended. Word quickly spreads. It's like trending on. Oh, Aaron Rupar.
Aaron Rupar, yeah.
Huge Twitter account. I think he used to work for Vox. He does his own thing now. He has almost like 1 million followers, and he was like one of the first
he
people suspended,
aggregates news and clips and things that are useful to liberals and leftists in knowing what's up with the right, basically.
Right. So, right away, I was supposed to do that. I do a Thursday night stream now every week with David Dole of the Humanist, David Dole of the Rational National, Mike Figueredo of the Humanist Report, Lance of the Serfs, Olamani, Illuminati, a bunch of people. Sorry if I'm forgetting anyone. We just started the stream. I'll remember you next time. And, I go on, I'm like, they're talking, I'm a little bit late because of what happened. And they're all like, dude. And I'm like, yeah, I just got banned. So I'm talking on there a little bit. And then this huge, literally, email after email started coming in from all these different news organizations, BBC, MSNBC, some that I didn't even end up being able to make work out schedule-wise. And, it was crazy. I was actually shocked it became that big of a deal. But at the same time, I don't think it's ever happened where a swath of fairly mainstream, New York Times, Washington Post, CNN, journalists who literally just report the news all of a sudden getting suspended just like that. It was like the Thanos snap.
Yeah. Well,
hey,
that's
Tim
my
Pool.
one quick question. That's my one quick question for you. You learned that from Tim Pool, I guess. But my one quick question for you is, do you think that benefited you, the fact that you were a part of a large scale ban of reporters who, work for the Times or CNN, who definitely have people who can get in with someone at Twitter and have a conversation? Do you think that got you at least unbanned initially?
No, I don't think that's anything to do with it because they are all in the same boat as me. The only people. Okay, so let's keep going. So we don't jump ahead again. All right. So basically, Elon Musk puts a poll up that night. Oh, whoa! The Twitter Space happens first. Now this is crazy, actually. You mentioned the Twitter Space that Elon went in, right? So there were a bunch of journalists who weren't banned, and this Twitter Space blew up. There was thousands of people in there at one point. But when it first started, there was just maybe a couple hundred people in that Twitter Space, and I'm suspended. When you're suspended, I did a stream on Friday night. People could go check it out to see what and basically I show people what you see when you're suspended. And so you get basically a read-only mode of Twitter. You can see your home timeline, all the people you follow and their tweets come in. You're not blocked from that. You just can't use anything that allows you to post, retweet, you can't check your DMs. You can't do any of that, but you can check your home feed, which isn't so bad, actually. That's one of the main ways I use Twitter. I would say I use Twitter half to consume the content that way and half to actually post content that way. So I see the Twitter Space pop up, and I'm like, could I click this and listen to it? So I click it, and I'm able to listen to it. And I'm like, wait a minute. Let me open it up on my phone, because you could actually, when you open a Twitter Space on your phone, you could click that little mic button, the mic request button that comes up on the side, and you get to talk on the Twitter Space. So I open up my phone, I enter the Twitter Space, and the microphone button shows up. I'm like, no way. So I click it, and I'm waiting for the host to bring me in. The host was Katie Anadopoulos of BuzzFeed, and I'm waiting, and all of a sudden I see she accepts me. And I hear them talking, and I'm like, should I just interrupt? And I go, hey, can you hear me? And Katie's like, Matt? And I'm like, oh my God. And I think Brian Stelter is the one who goes, what? You're suspended, right? And I'm like, yeah. And it's just I'm laughing. Everyone's freaking out. I discovered the loophole that Elon Musk ends up shutting Twitter Spaces down for that night. I was the first one to find out that suspended accounts could still get into Twitter Spaces. And so I'm in there talking, and they start sharing the Spaces link with the other journalists who got suspended, telling them, holy shit, you could enter this chat, come in. And then the kid who runs Elon Jet, he came in, and we're all talking, and right before Elon Musk joins, all of a sudden I'm booted out of the Twitter Space.
Oh.
So and I'm the only one who got booted out, because if you look at the Twitter Space replay, the Elon Jet kid is still there. Drew from Washington Post is still in there. I would love to know why I'm the one who got booted out of that space. But like you said, he comes in, he starts like they're asking him questions. He basically is like, very sort of like mealy-mouthed about it, doesn't really know what to say. He's just like repeating that like journalists will be treated just like any other Twitter user. And it's just like, okay, I mean, I don't think anyone expects otherwise. The question isn't about journalists being treated differently. It's literally that this policy is very weird for everybody.
Well, I mean, that's what you can trace the whole democratizing of the blue check thing to. It's this delusion that he has, or this resentment that he has about what he perceives as elitism from journalists or from, quote, blue checks, people who he thinks know better, and he's decided to make that the driving force behind his ownership and running of Twitter, which is complete madmen type stuff.
Right. No, yeah, that's a great way to, honestly. And so he does that. He leaves after like a minute in there, and they're still asking him questions. He just bounces. And then shortly after, Twitter Spaces just goes completely down, just offline. Luckily, people recorded that, like streamed it. I think Keffel streamed it. I went on Keffel's stream that night as well. And, because there's no copy of it. Like the Twitter Spaces was just taken offline completely. And from what I understand, Twitter Spaces was built on the old Periscope platform. Do you all remember like Periscope, that live video platform that Twitter acquired? You used to be able to do like live video on Twitter via Periscope. So Twitter Spaces was built on the Periscope platform. So when accounts on Twitter got suspended, it wouldn't automatically block them from Twitter Spaces because they wouldn't be suspended on Periscope. So I basically found that bug, and they immediately shut down Twitter Spaces. And so funny enough, I saw some conservatives, because conservatives love Twitter Spaces now. I saw some people on Twitter literally blaming me for ruining their Twitter Space night. They couldn't go on Twitter Spaces because of me. They were going, fuck Matt Binder. They were like, fuck Matt Binder. What an annoying piece of shit. If I didn't hate him enough already. It was so funny.
But so how does that feel? One, that you are feared by Elon Musk, and two, you knew that, I guess, essentially by the banning in and of itself, but to have him single you out in such a way that your usage of Twitter Spaces is the thing that drives him to shut the entire thing down. That is incredibly specific. I mean, it's mano y mano. You guys are having some sort of standoff with pistols in the Old West.
I would love to know I'm not even giving myself that much. I'm thinking because I was the first one in, someone at Twitter found out about it, and I was the first on the list to be taken down or whatever. I have no idea. But it was just very weird because I was in there, the first one in there. I found the bug. Which, by the way, people were like, oh, some people don't want to come in because they're afraid it'll be looked at as a ban evasion. And I'm like, how is this ban evasion? I'm not on a secondary account. I'm literally using the exact features they have enabled on my suspended account. If they gave this to me, that's their fault, not mine. I was like, this is not ban evasion. And so, so that all happened. Next morning I'm going, starting at 3 a.m. I'm doing BBC, and I basically stayed up from there doing all sorts of shows until I ended with CBC that night. And then, he did that poll Thursday night right after the Spaces, which I think you could hear him typing it up during Spaces, where he said, very leading question too, when should I unsuspend the journalist who doxed me and my family's private location? And the options were now, 7 days, like 2 weeks. Now it was now, tomorrow, 7 days, or longer. And now won after he said it for an hour. And then he wasn't happy with that result, obviously. So he's like, all right, I gave you too many options. Let's make it simpler. So he puts another poll out, but this time he makes the poll 24 hours instead of an hour. So that way there's definitely at least a 24-hour suspension, that was obviously done for that reason. And the options for this 24-hour poll were now or in 7 days. and now won by even more than it won last time. On Friday night, it ended, and I think it was like 59% to 41% now won. And so he eventually did unsuspend all the accounts. But now this is where things get weird. So I'm the only one who started tweeting that night. I was doing a live stream during it. I thought it'd be funny to do a countdown. Like I put a little countdown clock to see if you would actually listen to the poll. I was showing people what a suspended account looks like and stuff like that. And I'm tweeting and I'm like, oh, is everyone else just asleep? I guess everyone has a life. It's Friday night. I got kids. That's why I'm home. But you know, so I'm the one tweeting. And then I find out that, oh, the other journalists aren't tweeting because they're all being forced to delete the offending tweet, the tweet that got them banned. And I'm like, what? This is really weird. And then people realize that there's a missing tweet on my account. And so I'm like, they didn't ask me to delete it. So what is this tweet that's missing? And so I'm like racking my brain. And then I'm like, whatever, I can't figure it out. So the next day, I tweet at the new Twitter head of trust and safety, Ella Irwin. I'm like, hey, I didn't ever found out why I got suspended. Also, that my Twitter Spaces still didn't work. So I was like, also, Twitter Spaces doesn't work for me anymore still. And then all of a sudden, like in maybe like minutes, my Twitter is locked down again. So people see it right now. It's open. People can see it. It doesn't have the suspension on it. And they saw me tweeting the night that night where I got unsuspended. But then I got suspended again the next day because I reached out and asked why I got suspended. And it turns out that missing tweet on my profile wasn't the tweet that got me suspended. That missing tweet on my profile, because it actually has like a label, like this tweet was broke Twitter policy, just doesn't show you the tweet. That's actually a tweet I retweeted from one of the other guys. And that's their tweet that got removed. Twitter fucking forgot to make me delete the tweet. They reactivated my account without blocking the offending tweet was still up when I got, when they gave me the account back, and they let me, they gave me full access. I didn't have to delete anything. And she sent me a DM with a statement, but of course she sent it after she locked me out of the account. So I only read it via the DM notification you receive via email. So I can't respond to her. And it basically says, I don't know what happened. You should have been made to delete this tweet. I'll look into what happened. But you got to delete this tweet now. And so I filed an appeal because it's ridiculous. And then they denied the appeal. And the funny thing about the appeal denial, let me pull it up on the screen. The appeal denial says, here we go, let me pull it up on the screen. So here's the appeal denial for my tweet. Thank you for your patience as we reviewed your appeal request for account @MattBinder regarding the following. Our support team has determined that a violation did take place, and therefore we will not overturn our decision. You will not be able to access Twitter through your account due to violations of the Twitter rules, specifically our rules around, and you ready for this, Emma? I know you're not watching the YouTube screen right now, but everyone else is watching right now who's but I guess podcast listeners, they can't see this.
No, so you're ready? I'm in suspense.
Here are the specific rules that I violated. Blank. They didn't fill it out. There's nothing there.
What?
There's no specific rules. It's just blank. It's just completely blank.
And then it's beyond parody, Binder. It really is.
And then it continues, in order to restore account functionality, you can resolve the violations by logging into your account and complete the on-screen instructions. So I violated rules that don't exist here. And I can now tell you all what the tweet is. I know what the tweet is now. Okay, so this is what they show me when they want me to delete it. It's this one. It's the one I tweeted out on Wednesday night about the Twitter files, where I say, remember Elon Musk's first Twitter files, the one about Twitter blocking links to New York Post's Hunter Biden story? Elon Musk is using the same thing to block links to @Elon Jet on other platforms right now. The exact same thing. And then I point out, except old Twitter stopped blocking those links the very same day. And now, when they asked me to delete the tweet, there's like a t.co link there. But that's because they don't save the image. Or they're not showing me the image. I didn't include a link, and I actually found the tweet via Internet Archive. Let me pull it up now. So this is why I got suspended. Not for linking to any Elon Jet account, but for taking 2 screenshots. One of the warning message that the old Twitter in October 2020 was showing, like the message they would show when people tried to share the New York Post Hunter Biden story. I uploaded a screenshot of that right next to a screenshot of that same messaging being shown if people try to share the Instagram.com Elon Jet handle link. And so I got suspended and I'm locked out of my account because I shared a screenshot of a handle in order to make a broader critique or commentary about the New York Post Hunter Biden story reaction from Twitter, which is at the center of Elon Musk's own Twitter files discourse.
It's unbelievable. And I mean, to make matters worse, not just the policy that he ended up banning you for, what Twitter support followed up with was the broader policy that they then had to delete because clearly it seemed like it was an antitrust violation, right? Where they said that they would no longer allow any links to any of their competitors.
Right. And they did that the next day. No, that was on Sunday, right? During the World Cup, they rolled this out, which is hilarious.
And that's what I tweeted at Matt Taibbi, and I said, oh, wow, this is explosive, right? I mean, this is a much bigger story than what you got before, which were the removal of a handful of links to revenge porn that was stolen off of Hunter Biden's laptop and that the Biden campaign requested for them to be taken down. And Twitter obliged, although in those Twitter files, I should say, Matt Taibbi admits that there were communications between the Trump White House, not campaign, like in the case of Biden, but White House with Twitter, that curiously did not get released in this transparency exercise by Taibbi and Weiss and et cetera. So I said, this must be a much bigger story because in mass they are shutting down links to their competitors to speech that they do not like. And it's not just to do it to help out someone on the Biden campaign. It's large-scale censorship. And then essentially Elon is calling it free speech. And so, he could not have been more flagrant in making a mockery of what he said his purpose was for buying Twitter. I mean, he's undercut his entire branding exercise within a few weeks.
Absolutely. I mean, this was like the big moment. Like this was the big one here. Like everything he did before that. Listen, he wanted to bring accounts back. You know what? The funny thing is, and I've said this way before I got banned. I said this when he first came on and dropped certain different ideas. There are some things he said that I agree with. I think I've long thought permanent suspensions from social media platforms, especially in the current landscape where there's not, a new social media platform, coming out every couple of years. That becomes one of the big ones. I thought permanent suspensions are kind of lame. Like there should be maybe like really long ones for people who really badly break the rules, like maybe a year or two or something like that. But permanent suspensions are lame. I thought that was fine. No one should be permanently suspended. Just give everyone another chance. But then you also have to be ready to immediately punish them again if they break the rules immediately when they come back. I also think his idea for letting people know like what filtering labels they have, like if you get blacklisted from like the trends or something like that, which was a big like to do in the Twitter files. I didn't think the revelation in the Twitter files was anything crazy because actually we found out about those labels 2 years earlier with screenshots and everything 2 years ago. But the idea that you should be able to know when these things are put on your account, why they were put on your account, and what you could do to rectify them, I thought that would be a great thing to do. But all like the very few good ideas he's had, he's rolled 0 of them out, and all of the bad ideas he has, he's like doing like a speed run right now, like doing them all.
It's incredible. I mean, I feel like our entire generation has a good understanding of the fact that being a billionaire doesn't inherently make you smarter or your words more valuable. But if there was anybody on the fence besides the Elon simps who are, too far gone, this should do it, right? This should do it.
Listen, I think there's a lot of people. I think this was a real turning point. Like, I joined Mastodon that night. I joined it actually back in April because that's when he said he announced he was gonna buy the platform. So I was like, let me just set up an account here. And I didn't use it. And then that night I got suspended. I was like, let me just put a post out and see what happens. And everything was going on. I started getting all these emails and text messages and stuff. So I sort of just was too busy. And then like the next day I go on it just to see, maybe I got a few, maybe I got 1,000 or 2,000 followers or something. I log in, and in a day I got 23,000 followers on Mastodon. I was like, what? I was like, I got to start using this shit now. And so, but also when I was on Twitter for that short period of time where they forgot to make me delete the tweet, I gained like 30,000 followers too. I have like almost 130,000 followers on Twitter. But anyway, at this point, they want me to delete this tweet. And I know the other journalists, I think Aaron Rupar deleted his tweet. I think all of their tweets were either links to the Elon Jet Facebook or Instagram account, or I think even some of them got suspended for the same, reason, a screenshot of the handle. But I think mine is even is even one level different than all the other ones I've seen, because even the people who screenshotted the tweet who got suspended, which still should have been fine, I should say. But even they took a screenshot to show, this is what's going on. Whereas the point of my tweet wasn't even that you can see, I didn't like, the point of my tweet wasn't even to like share the link or the handle. The point of my tweet was to talk about the Twitter file discourse that Elon Musk that at the time, still is, engaged in, and point out the hypocrisy of them banning the New York Post link, supposed to be some big scandal, yet him doing the same thing to another link that he personally didn't like is just supposed to be fine.
No bad press. No bad press. Bad press against free speech. So
right. So what I'll probably this is what it was really easy when I was suspended. Obviously, to just what could I do? I'm suspended. I'll just milk it for all it's worth. Got to take advantage of the card. What is it?
You pay the hand you're dealt with.
The hand you're dealt.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was easy. But with the tweet thing, I was like, I'm not deleting this tweet. And then I'm looking at my profile, like logged out, and they already removed it. Like it's already replaced with the suspension label. So at this point, I appealed. I said, I'm at least going to get an appeal out of this. I want to, even if they're going to obviously knock it down, which they did, but I've exhausted all avenues. And so now it's like, do I just sit out knowing that tweet's not there? To begin with, like I'm just sitting out for principle at this point. If the tweet was still there, it'd be super easy. I'm not deleting it. So I just won't I'm just locked out, but it's not there. They just want me to like feel the pain of having to delete it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that feels like it comes directly from Elon.
So like, I guess what I was thinking is, being that people can't see it and it's the visible link, I should just fucking delete it and then immediately repost it word for word, same 2 screenshots, but simply blur out the Elon Jet handle, which at this point I think everybody knows. And just so I could get that that tweet back out there.
Affected the shit out of that thing.
Yeah, because I think it's a important point to make, that like he's literally, because that was my whole point. Like I didn't even try to like sneakily share. Honestly, I forgot the fucking handle was even visible in the screenshot to begin with. Honestly, I sincerely had no clue which tweet could have possibly broke any policy, to be quite honest. And I had actually a few people message me saying they think that was the one they got me for, but they pointed out 1 or 2 other tweets that they think stung a lot more. That that might have been the case, but Did you hear the latest updates with his story?
I mean, I have no idea if what I have heard is the latest because there's an update every second. I mean, the dude is just clearly up all night doing, I mean, whatever stimulants, maybe not, who knows? And like I can't keep up. I cannot keep up.
Right, right. So first, I should say I'm gonna continue to use Mastodon no matter what I do with Twitter, because I know there are a lot of people on Mastodon who are very even more like the Mastodon people are like the most anti-Twitter people, and I get it obviously. So look at me, but like I think they're worried.
I need
that,
a tutorial. I mean, you're gonna have to give me a tutorial or something
Yeah,
because
sure. Yeah,
I still don't know fully how it works.
People have reached out to me on Mastodon already saying you got to get Emma and Sam on here. So let's get you guys on.
All right, for sure.
So here's the latest update. So this is the story. So the next day, Elon, after he suspends us, like on Saturday, I believe, or Friday, I don't remember at this point, but we're jumping backwards now. So on Friday, after he suspends the original 9, he suspends Lynette Lopez, a Business Insider reporter who has long, covered Elon Musk, covering Tesla, and really Elon Musk does not like her. So she got suspended for reasons I still don't know. She's still suspended. I don't know if he's ever going to bring her back. I think she's the reporter who he had actually hired private investigators to like look into her and try to like really like get on her, like really try to like stop her from reporting on him. And then he suspended Taylor Lorenz for asking him for comment. I believe that was the reason. I don't know why, but he suspended her for a short time and then ended up bringing her back. But she was suspended because she worked on a story with Drew from Washington Post that came out where basically they found the guy who had the confrontation with Elon Musk's security, like the car, that night that he was talking about, saying, his kid and his family were accosted or whatever while they were inside the car. And they found the guy. And after talking with him and talking with police, the police said there's no evidence whatsoever that the Elon Jet account had anything to do with it. The police are saying, no, it did not happen. There was no tracking Elon from the jet to where this location happened. Apparently, it was like an hour and a half away from the closest airport. Secondly, the guy is a little bit weird, a little bit crazy, the guy who was in this car, but apparently he's obsessed with Grimes. Elon Musk's
oh my God, I did not
ex-partner.
Get this update.
Yeah. He didn't even care about Musk. In fact, he complained to the Washington Post that he thinks Musk has been tracking him because he's been trying to get in touch with Grimes or something like that. This wasn't about Elon Musk at all. And he made it about himself. And then, ready for this?
That's what he does best.
Right. And then another story dropped today. The police are now currently investigating a suspect. And that suspect is not the crazy guy who is obsessed with Grimes. They're currently investigating the Elon Musk security guard who they are claiming now, from what they know, initiated the confrontation.
Yeah, I did actually see that final part of it. But I did not see the Grimes element, which is, I mean, that undercuts his entire premise here. And you just see how, first of all, I mean, billionaires want to construct safe spaces around every element of their lives. They're so insecure and they can't buy the feeling of security. And so they're constantly overcompensating. They're filled with paranoia. And Elon Musk is no exception in this instance, obviously. But I just am fascinated by the immediate jump to banning, right? The quickness that he was with which he was willing to undercut his own branding because he's so impulsive. And two, just like how having a paranoid megalomaniac at the head of this major, now it's not just social media, it's a communications platform. It is a news platform, whether they like it or not. I mean, what what the ramifications of that and how we're going to continue to feel it. It's fun to laugh at, but it's not scary.
Right. I mean, yeah, Twitter is like the worst platform to have had someone like that by, because it is the platform where news and media literally congregate. Like he could have bought like any other platform and it would have been like, it would have sucked, obviously, a lot of power, but he wouldn't have had power over the people who, disseminate news and information and reporting. He now has that power. That's so weird, because he could have totally just came in, made his few changes that really mattered to him, unbanned his right-wing freaks that he loves. Anyway, at the end of the day, it would have sucked, yeah, and there would have been, people would have left. But at the end of the day, it wouldn't have substantially changed the platform. Because you know what? Even with old Twitter, there were right-wing freaks on the platform. Like, it's not like Twitter was some hunky-dory safe place for everybody, and it was just overflowing with positivity. There were white supremacists, Nazis, transphobes, homophobes, all sorts of terrible people on the platform. So, it's not like that would have made much of a difference. So he could have just did that and continued to run the platform as is. And you know what? I bet for the most part, people would have been fine with it. I mean, hell,
Yeah.
if you think about it, the Donald Trump poll, that won. Like, remember when he did that Donald Trump reinstatement poll to reinstate Donald Trump? That won. People voted to reinstate Donald Trump. And then look at these next two polls that he does. Reinstate the journalists. That won. Yes, reinstate them immediately. Should you step down as CEO? Yeah, you should. That one. And if you look, they all won by like the same amount, very close percentage-wise, which tells you that like there is an audience out there who wanted Donald Trump's account back on Twitter, but also wanted those journalists who reported critically on Musk back on Twitter, and also wanted Musk not to run Twitter anymore. Like, hell, Trump had a fun Twitter account for the most part.
Yeah, I mean, he was an all-time poster until, obviously the whole coup attempt kind of thing. But I'll say, I agree with you. And I do think, though, that Twitter was a safer and more enjoyable platform after they got serious about banning people who flagrantly violated the terms of service. And I think that really did start with Trump. And what happened after January 6th, there seemed to have been a shift. And now this is the backlash to that. But for that 2 years, really, after, or I guess less than that, because that happened in 2021, the January 6th, I thought Twitter actually improved. And it shows that, these decisions from the top, even if they tweak them slightly, they can have an effect downstream on the user experience. And Elon's not interested in the user experience. He's interested in crafting a major communication social media platform in his image and to fulfill the holes in his heart and his insecurities. And you see how schizophrenic, to use that, not in the medical term, obviously, sense, obviously, but just to describe like the jerking around that's taking place at the top of Twitter. I mean, it's just these personnel decisions really do matter, and what they're trying to implement. It's a house of cards to a degree if you have somebody there who is this incompetent.
Right. No, absolutely. Yeah. What does he do now other than I think he finally tweeted out that he's going to look for a new CEO due to the results of the poll. That was always in the cards. He always said he was going to eventually, months down the line, probably get a Twitter CEO. What that actually changes, who knows, because he still owns the company. He's tanked Tesla. Tesla is now trading at under $140 a share, which is the lowest it's been in like 2 years, I believe. He's lost $100 billion. Tesla stockholders are pissed at him. Even the largest shareholders are really upset with him. I'm hearing stories about people canceling their Tesla orders. I'm hearing like he's completely tanked his brand. Like this was a guy who people just knew about as like, oh, he's like the quirky tech guru.
He just
behind
hosted
all
SNL. He just hosted
Right.
SNL. I mean, the guy was they were trying to launder him as a, one of the nice billionaires just a few months ago.
Right. And who is the consumer base for Tesla? It's libs. It's like environmentally conscious liberal people, which is and see, that's the thing too. That to me is why the Elon Jet account is important. I don't really care for the most part about where he is flying to and from, like the actual pinpoint exact location. Like, was it interesting to see him fly to the World Cup? Obviously I think that was one that was funny and interesting, but like for the most part he's just flying back and forth from California and Texas. We don't need to know exactly like when and the exact airports he's coming into. I could see why maybe some reporters would need that, but for me, the more important thing the Elon Jet account does is it tells you how often he flies in his private jet, and it tells you just how far he flies in his private jet each time. And
or how close.
Right, yeah. But the reason that's important is because the amount that he flies and the amount of emission this guy through his private jet throws out there completely makes his whole environmentally conscious, green energy, I'm here to save us from climate catastrophe shtick with Tesla bullshit. And the Elon Jet account, after Musk went to Qatar for the World Cup, he tweeted out, and he's not tweeted out because he can't, he's not on Twitter. He posted on his other platforms just how much the emissions were. And people did the math, and that one trip from Musk was the equivalent to someone commuting to work every day for 19 years. Like the guy is just like, yeah.
I mean, we understand this, right? That he's been this massive hypocrite for so long, and the environmental stuff was not really something that he was actually interested in. He was trying to corner the market on luxury vehicles that were electric before other companies got there, and he was largely successful at that, and it made him a very wealthy man. But we're at a point now when Mercedes is coming out with an electric car, Porsche is coming out with an electric car, and this man is desperate, and he's looking for the next thing. And in that desperation, he's tanked his brand irrevocably so that he's kind of accelerated Tesla's crash. And I don't see the brand recovering in the foreseeable future, given the other developments. I think that's really what sent him panicking, if anything.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Emma, do you still have maybe like 10, 15 minutes to stick around?
Yeah, I can do 10 more minutes.
All right, cool. Because I talked a lot. I didn't expect this to go on for this long, but there were so many twists and turns I forgot about. And you are now my guest, and I want you to take over the conversation now, because I already said my shtick. So Emma, looking back at 2022, what do you think is the takeaway for this year? Do you think things are looking good in this world? Probably not. But do you think like yeah, go ahead.
No, I mean, God, I barely remember what happened, yesterday when you cover the news, because you kind of have to have some cognitive dissonance, let alone what actually happened in a calendar year. Well, I mean, what we saw over the past year was a long negotiation process with Build Back Better, which ended up in a bill that was passing that was 1/9 of what was initially proposed by the Biden administration due to Joe Manchin's finagling on behalf of corporations. And that essentially killed Biden's legislative agenda. Now, like I guess, so we're just talking the world of politics here. Biden has done some good things. I mean, the withdrawal from Afghanistan was a good thing, um, among others. They did end up getting something passed, and something Biden's doing that I think is underrated on the foreign policy front is he has drastically decreased drone strikes to a level that we haven't seen since they came into wide popular usage under Obama, really.
Joe, what are you doing, Joe? You gotta up
Yeah,
those drone
Joe.
strikes, Joe.
Yeah,
Come on.
more. Joe, come on, come on. More weddings. So I mean, none of that. And Biden, obviously, I think he, despite this recent failure with the railroad strike, has implemented the most pro-labor NLRB in decades, and the best of a Democratic president since, I mean, it's hard to say, but certainly before Reagan. So those are the positives. Obviously, though, nothing has changed transformatively, and we knew that with Biden. And so we're in this weird moment where, by the way, I think the country is shell-shocked from COVID and from Trump politically. They wanted a stabilizing force, and that's what they got. And I think that mood has persisted, honestly. So while Biden might not be the most popular person to run again, people are desperate for consistency and for somebody who's not going to be a wrecker, except if you're one of the Trump crazies that's already obsessed with him. And so this is what disproved always the Jimmy Dore theory that if Trump came into office for a term, the left was going to come back stronger than ever. Yes, it birthed the birthed candidates like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and other members of the squad, and then they came into Congress, and that was good. But other than that, my retrospective on the year 2022 is that we had a Democratic president who was better than he initially advertised himself as, and has been better than his career would indicate. However, it still widely is insufficient to meet the moment, and broadly, the left is in a place of stagnation due to the political climate. So that's kind of my sense.
No, I think you're absolutely right. I think we are still obviously dealing with a lot of issues from the past couple of years, exactly what you mentioned, COVID, Trump. I think, we got a question here that makes a lot of sense for right now. Vinny Holiday with a super chat. Is Biden the best president in our lifetime? You know what? I hate this. I hate to say it. I never would have believed it, but remembering that the bar is extremely low. Yeah, I would say so. Remember that for me and Emma, lifetime is, I'm older than Emma, so lifetime is the past 36 years for us to get all together. For Emma, it's much less even.
Not much. I'm turning 29 next year, so yeah. But
that's like 7 years. That's a gap.
Did you live through George H.W.? Yes, you did then. So you did.
I was born when Reagan was still president.
Wow. Okay.
I'm an old man.
Yes. Well, neither of them would qualify for this competition either way. So, as of now, based on that trajectory, yes. I still feel like the Iran deal was a really important piece of diplomacy that the Biden administration has reportedly just abandoned. I mean, Blinken is horrible, and he's like the restoration secretary of state when Trump wrecked everything, which is incredibly insufficient. But so as of now, on this current trajectory, yes. And in terms of like what he did to stand up to Republicans in his first term, it was better. And he had a lot less to work with than Obama, who came into office with a mandate. Like, we haven't seen mandates like that in a long, I mean, God, maybe since Reagan, in terms of how angry people were at Bush and the war, and how Obama came in with the ability to do essentially whatever he wanted to do if he really tried, with that many seats in the Senate and in the House. And he failed on that front. He arrived at the, executive order, I'm just going to fight Republicans, phase of his presidency in the final 2 years, and there was definitely not enough. That he didn't have the ability to do it, given Mitch McConnell's fierce opposition. So, um, on results, yeah, I would say that Biden is on track for that. And
Right.
that's incredible. That's incredibly depressing because I mean, Obama's better than Clinton and Biden's better than Obama, but the floor that we're talking about here, I mean I mean the bar is very, very low.
The bar is like just right above the floor. And like Joe Biden is literally conga, like I don't know, like just how low can he go? And he's getting right on, right there. He's right there.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
exactly.
I mean, in some ways, it is amazing how the Democrats still pulled off what they did in the midterms. Like with everything going on, I mean, I don't think it's ever been done before at this level, where
Yeah.
a president has had. And the thing is, too, I think Biden's going to be tough for them to beat in 2024, even if it isn't Trump somehow. Um, he's just like so neutral in terms of like what they got on him, to the point where like they're going after his son, who isn't even involved in politics at all. Like I don't even care about Hunter Biden because Hunter Biden's not involved with the administration, with government. He's like just a nobody, and that's who
Yeah.
they're focused on. Like they never did this with Obama or Clinton. They focused on these different issues. Hillary in 2016, obviously. They don't think they can. They don't think there's anything juicy on Biden.
No, well, I mean, it helps that Biden's white. I mean, seriously though, like or I shouldn't say helps, but it neutralizes some of the fury from the right. I mean, so much
And
of
he's a guy. Yep.
yeah, yes, and for Hillary Clinton's case, right? Like they built up that equity essentially with their far right audience by demonizing the Clintons, and the Clintons gave them plenty of material, but we're talking about guys that think they killed Seth Rich, so a little bit different in terms of substance of critique from the left of the Clintons versus the right, but they had built up a caricature of her for so many years, and that's what made her so easy to run against in 2016. And then Obama was black, and that was scary for people, and they used that. In many ways, that's what created Trump as well. So we are in this kind of bizarre political moment where we're the car stalled, and we gotta get it back going again, but not sure where to begin. I think we're going to get some more answers in the new year once we kind of see how the presidential race is shaking out.
Right, right. And of course, I mean, Biden's running. Anyone who has this hope that he's somehow not going to run and we're doing Bernie 2024 or someone else 2024, I think I mean, unless something happens, out of people's hands with health or something like that, you're getting Biden 2024. I
Oh
mean,
boy.
yeah.
Yeah, I know. I know. I would rather him run than Kamala Harris. I'll say that. If he does, I think he has a better chance to win. I think she'd lose to almost any Republican. So,
Right. I mean, I gotta say, people, he again not great, but some of the things he's done has been surprising in a good way. I mean, I would have never guessed. Um, excuse me. Ooh.
oh,
Of course,
all right.
of all days, I get this crazy cough all of a sudden.
Oh,
Um,
all right. Well,
that was the
feel
first time I
better.
forgot to hit mute. All right, thank you. Yep. So Emma, last question.
Yeah.
What aside from electoral politics, which is really the only sort of looking into the future thing we talked about, what are you looking forward to in 2023? I mean, I just said we're not going to talk electoral politics, but for me, I can't wait for those Republican primary debates, which will probably start summer 2023.
Oh yeah, that will be interesting. I mean, politically, looking forward to stuff is not in the cards to a degree.
How do you feel about the
I
student loans? What's going to happen with student loans and the Supreme
Well, it
Court and everything?
depends. I mean, it's true. I don't have a lot of optimism. The only kind of bright spot in that case is the fact that Amy Coney Barrett had refused to rule And it was when the cases were brought to her, she basically refused to have the Supreme Court take up two separate cases involving the student debt um, cancellation. And so there might be some reticence on her part and on other conservative parts to dip their toes into this because the legal case is so incredibly flimsy. These Republican states are suing to end the student loan program because they claim that they are harmed by it. And any like reasonable legal reading of it would show that that is a violation or not a violation, I should say, but that they don't have standing to say it plainly. And these guys are theocrats and they act like they're the high priests of America and that they cannot be challenged. So that doesn't really matter to them necessarily if there's no legal basis for it. However, they also have to maintain the illusion that they are good faith actors. So they can't do something so egregious. So I would be pessimistic about it. I'd lean on, they're going to be as extreme as possible. They see it's their time to strike, but I'm more optimistic about this than, say, the Roe v. Wade decision, where they telegraphed it for a long period of time. So they could use it. They could maybe just side with the administration as a way to negate some of the blowback.
Right. Nick Maurer with a $10 super chat says, just wanted to say I love Emma and you, of course, Matt,
too. Very sweet. Thank you,
always
Nick.
Always enjoy listening to your takes. That one's at you, by the way. Always enjoy listening to your takes. And last, this is another super chat just came in. Sorry, Emma. $5 super
worries.
chat from Parker. What was more shocking in 2022? Roe v. Wade being overturned or Russia invading Ukraine? I mean, my opinion is that
Russia.
You thought that one?
What was more shocking? I had basically thought that at the time, and I was proven wrong, that it was bluster, and people were upset about my take on it, and that they have the right to criticize me. That's fine. The Roe v. Wade thing I had feared for a long period of time. What was more devastating for me personally? I mean, I was horrified by the images of what was coming out in Ukraine, but I will never forget the moment that I saw the opinion leak and the Politico notification came up. Just because, like, I don't know, I'm thinking about having a child at one point. At that point, I was also like deciding what contraception I wanted to use and stuff. So I was thinking about those things, and it's hard to have a uterus and for it to not be personal for you. So yeah, that was very memorable for me in the bad way.
No, I completely understand. I mean, I was shocked too, and I'm not in that same position as you. To me, I guess I don't know, the Roe v. Wade. You're right. The question is which was more shocking. I don't know if it's because I wasn't one of those people who actually thought that Russia wasn't going to invade Ukraine. Like the second I saw, our own government come out like a few months earlier, a warning that this is getting bad. I actually believed it. Something about it was like, this is actually, I believe them. I know they usually aren't on the right side in these sort of things, but I believe them this time. It's just the reaction, the way, Russia and Putin are acting. It's just something is different this time than when, the U.S. government is, usually not on the right side of sort of these foreign, relation issues. So I don't know. I wasn't super shocked when it did happen. But, when both happened, it was still like stunning to see it actually play out. Emma.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming on and joining me tonight.
Oh, of course. Thank you for accommodating the camera-less situation. Next time I'll be better.
Oh yeah, I hope there is a next time, because I can't believe this was the first time you were on Doom. That's unacceptable. You need to come on more often.
We'll definitely do it sometime in the new year.
Sounds good. Sometime. Everyone, mark that in your calendar right now. Emma Vigeland coming on late December 2023.
No. Before that, I will. I'll give you the virtual handshake on that.
Sounds good, Emma. Always a pleasure. I'll see you I'll see you in just a few days
Yeah.
on the Majority Report.
See ya on Thursday. Yeah, check that out, guys. Every Thursday, Matt Binder on the Majority Report with myself, Brandon, and Matt Leck, Bradley. We have a great time on Thursdays.
We do, and we'll have it's the final. It's the second to last Majority Report episode of the year. This Thursday.
Well,
So
yeah, we do the second to last live episode of the year.
yes.
We do the best ofs, which are pretty fun because the audience essentially sends them in what interviews they thought would be best to replay, and we have some really good ones that we're going to replay. But yes, final live week of the Majority Report in 2022.
There we go. And where can people find you online, Emma? Would you like to plug everyone's favorite social media platform and your handle
yes. Twitter.com/Emma Vigeland. But check me out every day, noon Eastern, the Majority Report. I am the co-host with the great Sam Cedar. He's awesome. The show I'm very proud of. And I also, if you're interested,
I gotta check that show out. I gotta.
Oh yeah,
check
you
him.
should.
I gotta check out this Sam Cedar fellow.
Yeah, he's okay. And then I also do a sports show every Monday and Thursday at 4 p.m. called ESVN, and it's youtube.com/ESVN show. You can check me out there if you have any interest in the NFL, soccer. We've been covering a little. We'll get more into basketball, hockey, etc. Trying to cast a wide net.
Let me know when you want some pro wrestling coverage.
I honestly, once that might be lower on the list of priorities because I have zero knowledge about it, but I will take you up on that.
Sounds good. Emma Vigeland, everybody. Thank you so much. Have a great night.
Thanks. You too. Bye, Bender. Bye, guys.
Bye. Bloop, bloop. All right, folks. The show is not over. Don't go anywhere. We have much more. I'm going to open the phone lines. You'll be able to call in. You'll be able to talk to me. I take the phone calls as they come in. So literally, you call. If the phone picks up, you're on the air. I won't bring your video up unless I ask you. So don't worry about if you like hit the video and you don't want to be on camera. I never just bring people's video up. I always ask. But you don't have to do video either. You could just do audio. But you call, I answer, or I don't answer because you weren't the first to call, and you just gotta try calling back in when I take the next call. That's on Skype. So open up Skype. It's free. You could download the app. You could get the web version. Search Doomed Live, the name of the show, Doomed Live, because we're live. One word, Doomed Live. And the username to call will pop right up. But first, patreon.com/Matt Binder. To support this show, patreon.com/Matt Binder. All I ask is a small monthly monetary subscription. It's a paid subscription. What you do is you get to support the growth of this show. This show has been growing steadily over the past couple of years. I've been able to create more content thanks to my patrons at patreon.com/Matt Binder. I've been able to launch a second show earlier this year called Scam Economy, which has been right at the forefront of covering cryptocurrency and all the scams and the whole blockchain universe. We've been talking about FTX. This week's Scam Economy I have the great Molly White from Web3 is Going Great coming on to talk about everything that's been going on with FTX lately. So check that out, scameconomy.com. And also right here at youtube.com/Matt Binder. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, twitch.tv/Matt Binder. Follow me there. And if you're an Amazon Prime subscriber, connect your Amazon Prime subscription, your Amazon account, I should say, connect your Amazon account to your Twitch account, and you get a free Twitch Prime subscription every month to give to your favorite Twitch creator. That's free for you, paid for your creator. Basically, you force Amazon to give your favorite creator like a small portion of what you already pay them for your Prime subscription. So it's a win-win-win if you ask me. What else can you do? You can follow me on Twitter at Matt Binder because my account is unsuspended, but I'm locked out. But no, really, Mastodon. You can find me there at Matt Binder on Mastodon. I don't know where else. Instagram, Matt Binder. Just search Matt Binder. You'll find me. Doomedcast.com for the podcast version of this show. Yeah, let's go to the second half of the show. Nothing changes for you if you're watching live or if you're a patron. This is just where I cut the free podcast audio-only version of the show when I upload that. I'm going to go grab a quick refill of my soda. Oh, I want to thank really quick Cy Abelman for the $40 super chat. Keep up the good work. You guys are the best. Thank you so much, Cy. Also want to thank Dylan Burns for the raid over on the Twitch multicast stream. Thank you so much, Dylan. It was a pleasure to have you on just a few weeks ago on Doom to talk about a bunch of different things. Check out that episode if you're a fan of Dylan Burns. All right, let me take a quick break. I'm going to take as many calls as I can tonight. Usually I say we're going to go for an hour, and then I end up streaming for like 3 or 4 hours. I don't know if I could do that. I'm feeling exhausted already. It's been a long couple days. But I'm going to go for as long as I can, at least an hour. So give me a quick second. Let's transition to that second half where I'll take your calls. For the freebie podcast listeners, this is where I say I will see you next time on Doomed. Today on Doomed.
Ecological collapse, corporate fascism, corporate journalism, police brutality, voter suppression, austerity economics, educate the masses, rampant homophobia.
We got our first caller. All right, we are back. Hello, everybody. This is the second half of Doomed with Matt Binder, where I take your calls, read your super chats, read your Twitch messages. We got a lot more show for you right now. I forgot to thank all the patrons. I got to do that. Let me take a second to thank all the people who became patrons over the past couple days. There's a lot. Let me go back here. Oh boy. All right. Deppy, Pizzy Cat. Oh boy, I'm messing up these names already. Let me start at the beginning. Toka Oroku, Deppy, Pizza Kata, Thomas, Jose G, Sarah, Scott. Excuse me. Sarah, Scott M, Blair Z, Todd S, D Mobbins, Kyle C, Jobert B, Nathan R, Joan M, Andy B, Ryan W, Matthew V, Keffels, Daniel S, Lindsay, Omri, Annette K, Angelina, Kevin S, Ben B, Tim, Drew P, Sam L, Andrew L, Lynn S, Bobby S, Sebastian D, Crossbones emoji, that's literally their name, it's the emoji, Pedro B, Mark S, Joseph W, Bobwin, Zach from the Vanguard Leftist, Andrew M, and Jonathan A. All these people joined just over the past few days since I really was banned. Tim Bob coming in right now too. Tim Bob RN with a patron subscription. Thank you all so much for the support. It really does mean a lot. It helps me do so much more with this show. And now let me take your calls. Let's take this caller right here. Hey, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
With a patron subscription. Hello, it's Justin. Can you hear me?
Hey, Justin, I can hear you.
There, I can hear you now. Hi.
Hey, how are you?
Oh, I can't hear you now.
Uh-oh. Do you hear me? Hello? Justin? Well, let me see if it's on my end. 1 second. This usually
Oh,
works. Let's see.
I can hear you now.
You can hear me?
I can hear you now. Am I
Okay, great.
echoing
Yep,
for your end?
you sound good to me. I sound good to you. Perfect. So, where are you from?
Yep. I'm from Bremerton, Washington. You can put me on screen too.
Perfect. We'll bring you up on screen right now. And all right, cool. And what would you like to talk about?
Um, hmm. Oh, I guess the Twitter thing that I've been noticing when Elon uh, bought Twitter that my news feed has started to just become inundated with a lot of right-wing voices, such as Matt Gates. I don't follow Matt Gates, but all of a sudden he's on my feed, and it's not from retweets or anything, or even Elon Musk. He pops up on my feed now.
Right. Yeah.
Nobody at all.
I,
It's
I mean that
crazy.
that was always the thing with Twitter to an extent where like they put people on your timeline who they thought you'd be interested in based on your likes and retweets, which again doesn't make sense for Matt Gates to show up on yours. But since he came in, yeah, they definitely tweaked just how far-reaching that algorithm decides to, what tangential interest you would have that they would bring into your feed for sure. I've noticed that too.
It's the complete polar opposite. And I made the connection today. It felt more like when I went on my Twitter, it felt more like I was looking at my Reddit feed. With Reddit, I put in some of that right wing stuff because I like to see what they're talking about. Um, it's kind of technically I like watching Fox News because it lets me see this what they're talking about. And frankly, like Bill O'Reilly, he taught me about media matters. That's
Right.
funny,
Yeah. Right.
you
No,
know.
that's a great point. Yeah, it's weird because
Yeah.
listen, I'm on Mastodon now, and I've been on there for a couple of days, and it's a totally different thing. It's a totally different thing than Twitter. Everyone is super nice and positive and supportive and stuff like that. But here's the thing, like that's great to have that, like to go on a platform that's like that. But that's just not who I am entirely. Like
Mhm.
people who follow me over the years know that part of who I am is actually going at it with these guys on the right who are in my Twitter mentions calling me a groomer and a pedophile and all this other random stuff. I mean, I have an incredibly thick skin. And when that sort of stuff happens to me, I actually get quite a kick out of it. I'm really bad. My addiction to Twitter isn't like the people like get addicted for like the likes and the retweets and the follower count and stuff like that. No, mine is just fucking with right wingers when they come at me, because it's funny. I think it's funny. I know other people don't because it's but I think it's funny.
Right. If when you go into that mentality and you're going to fuck with them, that's really fun. I used to do the same thing, only more like with Facebook. I got involved with my local politics, and there's a local radio station that's pretty right wing that actually catapulted me further left now that I am, which is really good. But I, communicating with these people, I actually tried to convince them. Then I learned that there's no convincing these people. Then I'd rather fuck with them. And then I learned how Facebook and how toxic it was being in that environment all the time. Even with so it's like I've deleted my Facebook, kept my Twitter since 2009, and then my Reddit, has that balance of politics and everything. It's more of my news aggregate, whereas my Twitter is more quick rundown of my leftist friends and everything, what's going on there.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I use it for two things, like you just said, the content stuff, and you know what, I also look at it like look what with the James Lindsay thing. He stopped calling, LGBTQ people groomers for a little while, and then I've noticed he stopped really doing it that much. Like he still does it because he's got to pretend that like he still doesn't care, but like when Elon Musk suspended me, when Twitter suspended me, someone sent me his tweets that he was replying to Elon Musk calling me out saying, no, keep him banned. He was really mean to me. It's like, dude, I just posted screenshots of you. Like, not even. I posted pictures that you and your friend Nikki Klein of the Nexium Groomer Sex Cult posted. And I just shared it with people. Public photos that you guys put out there. That's all I did.
Yeah.
I didn't tell anyone to do anything at all to you. I posted it, and people decided to grill you for it because they wanted to ask you shit about it, because it's certainly notable that the OK Groomer guy is hanging out with a member of one of the most prolific group of groomers there's been in the past, 20 some odd years, 30 some odd years, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Like, dude. I mean, so yeah, I mean, and you know what, like that, if I can like just do that sort of thing and like just give people like relief who like, because that's what they do. They attack people who obviously are marginalized or can't take it, or, you know, if I could take that and bring it to me, where someone who's like, just, it doesn't affect me because I'm not LGBTQ, I'm not a woman, I'm just me.
Just a regular and pointing something out that is, yeah. Another thing about this, since it's end of the year, the most shocking thing for me, going off of what you and Emma was talking about, I would go with Roe. You know, the Russian thing, I feel that I kind of felt like you, like it. The U.S. government had something. They knew something was going on, and when it finally happened, okay, well, we've been warning about this, and those that are really surprised just weren't listening at all. It's kind of like the Afghan thing too, you know. To me, I felt that the Afghan fall was not a surprise at all to me. I felt that it would fall like that. It just based on the Taliban is just waiting it out. You know, with the Roe thing, it's shocking, but I took action. You know, like so many other people, they got out on the streets. For me in Seattle, I got out there and become more active because of it. And you know, now that we know that rights can be taken away, I feel that it's really that the right really made a mistake. That the Supreme Court was not on the same page as Mitch McConnell, and it really it's really interesting to see it real time, the cohesiveness of what they've had for like 20, 30, 40 years is kind of falling apart now that the fundamental right has gotten their way, which is Roe is gone, and it's kind of falling apart. You know, it's just so interesting.
Right. Yeah. No, absolutely. Yeah. I think it, you know, obviously they'll probably say, and I agree, that this was the strategy and probably was a win for them to begin with, for sure. That electoral losses don't matter because they got what they've been fighting for decades with Roe. And yeah, but we'll see just how long that matters in elections. You know, obviously if it becomes a turning point in electoral politics for decades or generations to come, then maybe it won't be worth it for them when the younger generation comes into more of them come into voting age and they just completely wipe out the Republican Party. If that happens, I mean, I'm not saying it's going to. I'm saying we got to wait and see. Right now, you know, taking down Roe was still cost benefit wise a win for them without a doubt.
Yes.
But we'll see if that remains the case as the election years go by.
I'm hoping that we do codify the Roe, because the same thing with 10 years ago, you know, it was just so strange that we had control of everything. Why didn't we just put it in the books? And it's because they want to use it as that the fundraising. It's all about money. They can use it as an easy fundraising thing. So
right. Well,
hopefully they can codify it. But yes,
right.
thank you
for
taking
my call. Yeah, I got to go a little bit faster through the calls today because there's so many people calling in. Appreciate it. Always a pleasure.
Thank you, Matt. Have
Take
a great
care.
New Year and everything. Bye.
You too. All right, we'll go back to the phones, taking the next call as it comes in. Here we go. Hey, what's your name? Where are you calling from? Your audio is a little bit muffled. I couldn't hear you. It sounds better now. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
James from Texas.
Oh, hold on. I can't hear you. It sounds really muffled. It was better for like a split second before.
Can you hear me now?
It's really muffled. Are you on just using your phones like mic? I'm not sure why it sounds like that. Do you have your hand covering it? It literally sounds like there's something over it.
Can you hear me better now?
No, it's so muffled. I really can't make out what you're saying. I'm sorry.
I have AirPods in, so.
Oh, wait. Whatever you're doing, that sound. Wait, hello?
Can you hear me better?
I can hear you so much better. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
I'm James. I'm calling from Texas.
Hey, James from Texas. What would you like to talk about?
So, I have a question. I was wondering if you had any thoughts on the U.S. And the Syrian Democratic Forces stopping joint exercises and the potential Turkish invasion of northeast Syria.
I got to tell you, I am not well informed on this specific area, so I really can't give you anything. I could look into it and give you my opinion later on a different show, but this specific question, I really can't answer it. I'm just being honest with you.
Okay. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Oh, no problem. I appreciate the question. I wish I could have an answer for you.
All right. Thank you.
Have a great night.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye. All right. Let's go to the next call. Hey, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Spocko.
Hey, Spocko. What would you like to talk about, my friend? The voice of scam economy.
Number one thing, so excited about you. And every time that I would tweet about you or on Mastodon, I would put a link in saying, you know how you can best help Matt Binder? You need to sign up for his Patreon. And I put the link in there and all those. And I know you're too modest about it, but because of the hard work of me promoting you, you've got 5 new patrons.
I really appreciate that. No, thank you a lot. That really means a lot.
You should have hundreds of new ones.
I haven't really promoted it. I'm really bad. I've told people that it's so hard for me to ask for money like that. I feel so, even though I put out the content and I feel like people, obviously get their money's worth. I still always feel, that's why I put so much stuff out for free. Because I just can't. I can't do it. I mean, eventually, I guess I should. I mean, we just hit 400 patrons.
Well, good.
Concurrent patrons.
That's our job, is to promote you. I feel like it's my job as the official voice of the scam economy. I want to make sure that you reach 500 by the end of the year.
That would be 100 in the next week and a half. That'd be insane. I don't know. We'll see.
I also have been promoting my own stuff. Of course, I'm terrible at the same money thing too, but I was on the Brad Freeman show talking about specifically what we can do with Musk and like pressure campaigns. And I linked to the times that you and I chatted about this. I translated them, put them through the AI because we've talked about these things. And the thing that I'm looking at, a bunch of people I see in the media talking about it, but I'm still seeing nobody really working on it. And I've contacted some of the people that I've learned and met from your show, Inman from the Center for Countering Digital Hate, which is what is the next steps to actually put pressure on Musk besides this kind of phony baloney, I'm going to quit being the CEO thing. And I don't see anybody thinking this way.
There's the only way you go. This is how you pressure him. It's gonna be straight up through his companies and with Twitter with his advertisers.
Right. Well, here's the thing: is these are the kinds of pressures that I'm thinking about, and other people thinking about. And I talked to Imran about this, which is here are the pressure people. The Tesla stockholders is one. The other groups are the people who are the bankers who he owes $12.7 billion to, the EU regulators, and the Apple App Store. And a lot of people had said, and you and I have talked about this, is, well, yeah, but the EU doesn't start yet, or Apple doesn't have any kind of one of the things that we have to keep doing is gather evidence that can be used to show these various different groups, even the Tesla stockholders, he lies, he doesn't keep his promises, and here's the evidence so that we can focus on safety. And the whole thing about doxing, this is, I think, something that he could get behind and other people get behind, which is the doxing thing. No. Here, I'm going to say about safety of people, but they'll only focus on brand safety. I mean, that's what they'll think is, brand safety.
But you have to really understand that whole policy was just about his personal experience. It's not a policy. He doesn't actually care about other people being doxxed.
I know.
Well, he does, but
he
cares about his friends and his buddies who get doxxed. He doesn't really care. People get doxxed online.
General public.
I mean, you know how many times people have doxed me on the internet, let alone solely on Twitter? I mean, it's happened. And you don't hear me crying and whining about it. You don't hear policies being changed for the people who've been harassed and stalked in real life, who don't have billions of dollars and a security team and a private jet. I mean, the idea that this was about doxing is just it was strictly about one single person, and then maybe down the line some people that he's friends with.
Right. Well, so use his own experience to show to other people, it should be available to other people. And I read all of the EU regulations. I read the principles from the Santa Clara principles, and I read the work from the Center for Countering Digital Hate, their STAR principles. All of that stuff have some ideas on how to deal with content moderation with people. And nobody's putting pressure on to say, not just get rid of him, saying, okay, if he goes, what can be done? And this is what I'd like to, have. And I'm talking to the group that it's called Stop Toxic Twitter. That's the coalition that we talked about with this Free Press and Media Matters for America, Color Change. They're the ones who contacted the advertisers first. So they're right now trying to figure out what's the next step. And one I think is, and I saw that Keffels was a moderator, gave you a subscription. I think that particular her audience would be great at gathering all the data of all the harassment and the death threats that they get, and send it not just to Twitter, but send it to the group for like Stop Twitter, Toxic Twitter, the EU, Apple. Gather that evidence to use, and not just report it to Twitter. That's the kind of hard evidence that can be used to put other power. I mean, get the power people to say, we need to do something because it's bad. And it won't be profitable unless these things are fixed, not just Musk is gone. His latest tweet was, I'll stick around to deal with the hardware and server teams. Well, that's all sorts of power there. There needs to be other kind of conditions. So to me, it doesn't matter as long as he owns it, because then its success is still making him money if it does ever make money, which again I highly doubt. Like I've said it before, like if I was to get a phone call from Elon Musk and he was to tell me, I will if you tell me how to turn this business around, I would say to him, and I'll give you whatever you want. I would say to him, I cannot, because it's literally impossible. You overpaid more than anyone should have ever paid for this website, and you will never, ever make back that money. It is impossible. So, I mean, I don't know. It's just there's going to be a point where he's got to pay people back. And, he's going to have to sell off the company maybe. I don't know what the whole deal is. When you're dealing with people this powerful and this rich, they get to skirt the rules more than anybody else, Yeah. Well,
Spocko, thanks for the call.
Bye.
Always a pleasure. One of my favorite callers. All right, let's see who's calling in next. Remember, I take the calls as they come in. I see a bunch of new numbers I've never seen before. I take the calls as they pop up on my screen. First come, first serve. A bunch of people, just at once. Here we go. Hey, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Matt, it's Tony from Texas.
Hey, Tony, what would you like to talk about?
Well, I was wanting to discuss the recent very little information that's come out about the Texas Attorney General's office requesting from the DMV first the numbers of, and then a list of everyone in Texas who has legally changed their gender identification.
Yes, that's just unbelievable. What is he gonna fucking do with that list? I mean, we already know what they did with the list of young people who've done this. They started harassing their families.
Mm-hmm. Well, I don't know if you follow Bo of the Fifth Column. He put out a video about this today, and he's someone who definitely, like, he likes to do his due diligence, and when really wild shit like this comes out, he reaches out through his channels. He tries to find info before doing a video about it, and if he doesn't find anything, he doesn't do a video about it. And he put out a video.
Trying to say something? Trying to say I don't do my due diligence? Is that what you're saying? No. Go ahead. No, I'm joking with you. Go ahead.
Yeah, just reiterating what the point he makes in this video. He says, I didn't find more info about this. Like, I haven't found like a lot more info about this, but this is still like, this isn't nothing. Like, this is going to get kind of lost in the news cycle through the holidays, and Washington Post is probably going to dig more into this like in the new year and that sort of thing. But like, keep this in mind. And there is, the question is, like you said, what are they wanting to do with this information? But I think it might be kind of like the conservative clerk leaking the Roe decision. Like, it's as much about the optics. Like, by asking these questions and being shady as shit about it, it's making us nervous. It's making us scared. Like, I haven't had that information changed because I haven't been able to afford it in the time since I've come out, and now I'm having even more serious reservations about trying to transition myself in those ways while still living in a state like Texas.
Right.
And I think
exactly what they
point.
want. Right. Yeah.
I think that's the point.
Right.
Is to scare us into the closet. It's kind of working. I mean, I'm still living my life, going about as myself, but like, and I've every day the past week I've been applying for jobs out of state, trying to find something that I could afford to move and live elsewhere and still be able to take care of my fiscal responsibilities here in Texas. Like, I got a fucking mortgage and shit. Like, I've got family here that like I'm trying to be supportive of and responsible for, and like,
all right.
I don't want to move to another state, but this is getting a little too serious.
Right.
Yeah, but on a lighter note, I have a favor to ask you.
Sure.
Okay, I need you to dead face look right into the camera.
You're gonna do it now? Okay, let's do this. Right.
Yeah.
No, guess what? Yeah. I actually, as people would notice, I just got a haircut.
I know. Don't worry. I'll give you better hair. But...
I always get a haircut a little bit shorter than the length I actually want it at, just so, because my hair grows very fast, as people probably notice. So yeah, I want longer hair and that thing you're gonna do. Tony, people don't know, Tony's making a doomed intro, just like she did for the Scam Economy intro, and Tony needs my profile. So here we go.
So deadpan straight. Okay, great. And now
Oh, wait, should I
to the
move the
left.
mic down a little bit, or is it?
No,
Fine?
no. The mic's
All
fine.
right.
Mic's fine. No, I just need you to look perfect. Hold. All right. Now 180. Perfect. Thank you so much.
It's actually a good idea. You've been waiting for me to
I
give
don't know
that
why I
to you
didn't think
forever,
about that
and it's
years ago. Like I don't even do anything right now. I'm just like I'm gonna go back and like pause it and
right.
screen snip it.
Right. Well, thanks for the call, Tony. Always a pleasure.
for
I
having
really appreciate everything you do for this show, and always love talking with you.
Hey, I appreciate what you do for this show. You have a good night.
Oh, thank you. Let's go back to the phones. Hey, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, this is Dakota from Nashville.
Hey, Dakota from Nashville. What would you like to talk about?
Well, I also have a favor to ask you, if you don't mind.
Oh, okay, sure.
Can you get some merchandise?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I've been meaning
You know.
see, this is the thing. Like, I owe people stickers still from people. They didn't. I said when Scam Economy first came out and they got stickers printed up, I was like, oh, if anyone leaves a podcast review as a thank you, I'll send you a sticker.
Right.
And there are still some people I gotta get to. I've been so busy. So like the merch thing is just because I need to find I need to sit down and just do it. It's not like it's not. I mean, so you know what? You asked. I'm gonna get it done. What are you thinking? What are you thinking merch wise? Shirts?
Okay, I was picturing. My wife she loves your show. She's been on it a few times for Christmas, right? I was picturing a large black shirt, pretty simple, just with your face on it.
Well, I don't know about that. That's a little bit.
Come on. No. I don't know. Whatever you can think of.
All right, cool. Yeah, but I'm. Jeez, I'm all of a sudden this cough today on all days. No, yeah, I gotta get merch. Scam Economy, Doomed. What are you thinking? Or both? Is there a preference?
No preference.
All right, cool. Maybe I'll just combine the two. Yeah, all right, definitely merch for sure. A Critical Revolt on YouTube live chat says NFTs. Obviously, is that what you're calling me for?
Yeah.
You want the NFT collection to come out? Right.
Challenge Musk. Whoever can make the best NFT gets to run Twitter.
Right. Yeah. Or I could drop an NFT collection that literally is just the Trump NFTs, but with my face superimposed over the ones that has his face superimposed over what they did. Did you hear that they're being
do that? That's someone's property.
Did you hear that they're being sued because apparently that's all they did and they didn't pay the artists? Like they didn't pay the original. I mean,
that's
really,
not surprising.
It's Trump. Yeah.
Well, good luck with the rest of your show. I just wanted to hop on and shout that at you.
I appreciate that, Dakota, and I will definitely get merch. And if you're listening and still waiting for those stickers, I promise you, I'm going to have some days here. I'm going to get you stickers to anyone who's still waiting for them. Have a great night, Dakota. Thanks for calling in.
You too. Bye.
Let's go back to the phones. Hey, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, it's me, right? Yeah.
Yep. Hey, what's
Phil
your name? Where are you calling from?
Phil from Chicago suburbs.
Hey, Phil from Chicago. Oh, you got your video on. Can I pull up your video in the feed, or you prefer not to?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's
Cool.
fine.
All right, cool. Doing that right now. All right, cool. Hey, what would you like to talk about?
Well, love you. This probably be pretty short. You should do Renee merch if he consents to that. But so the this is just really quick. Are you aware? I don't know if this is a big thing. I've seen one sort of prominent short seller post like a xenophobic conspiracy theory that FTX is like a front for the Chinese Communist Party because there is a guy with a Chinese surname who helped to run FTX.
No,
that seems to be the entire all the evidence that he has.
I've heard that for Binance because obviously, CZ of Binance is, Asian. So there's been all these sorts of, I'm not saying it makes sense. I'm saying that's literally the connection. The guy's from Canada. But also he's never stepped foot in the U.S. as far as I know. So I have no idea what the deal is. But I haven't heard that for FTX, no.
I'll send you the tweet in which he discusses it. He has a pretty wide following. You know, I hesitate to bring it up, but like it'd be cool if you could debunk some of the things that lead to all the stupid, you know,
Yeah,
anti-Asian violence and everything.
A lot of these really big crypto influencers are dumb as shit. Just honestly spread absolutely complete honest to God junk without any sort of research, any sort of backing, just complete speculation. It's just yes. I'll have to look into it though. Definitely send it to me.
If it's big, if it's not worth responding to, then don't amplify it, of course. But yeah, so the weird thing is it's not a crypto guy, it's like an anti-crypto guy almost. There's, you know, maybe. All roads lead to
Who
racism.
is it?
So
what's his name?
It's a guy named Mark Cahodes, but that's the person who posted the tweet. So he's a
familiar.
short seller.
I'll have to.
Okay.
Those guys also are not so trustworthy.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Was there anything else, or that was it?
That's almost it. Okay. So the only other thing I would say is like I apologize. I admit I have not seen every episode of Doomed, but if you haven't covered. If this hasn't been covered yet, it'd be cool if one of your, you know, Latin America experts, like I think Dr. Gus from Argentina, somebody talk about the Kirchner situation.
No, we have not yet.
Latin
No, we actually like, last week we had
Renee's friend.
We haven't done that yet. Last week we had someone call in from Peru to give us an update on the situation there. But no, I have not talked about that yet. That's a great idea. Maybe Renee has an idea for a guest for that one with his contacts in South America.
Yeah.
No, that's a great idea. All right. Thanks for the call. That World Cup game, by the way, speaking of in that general region, that was amazing, that game. Amazing. That was a great game. And the call, the commentary, unbelievable. On Telemundo, amazing. For the end of that. Hey, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, it's Mitchell from Utah.
Hey, Mitchell from Utah. Can I pull you up on the screen?
Yeah, you can.
Cool. What did you talk about?
Well, first, I just want to say awesome with the World Cup game.
It was, oh my God.
That was so wild. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it was. I really thought like, oh man, Argentina 2-0. We're like, 60, 70, almost 80 minutes into the game. This is it, I guess. Maybe France will score one. But then, oh my God, tying it up and then going to extra time and then tying it up, 2 goals from each, 1 goal from each team there, tying it up. And then those penalties. Oh my God. Yeah.
Yeah. I was watching with my family and we were rooting for Argentina, Lionel Messi's last chance. Like we were into it.
Yeah, we were rooting for Argentina here too. Yep.
We went from that easy coast, like, oh, they've got this in the bag. They've had the whole game, and then suddenly it was like, oh, what's gonna happen? That was a great game.
Right, and let me say, man, I think, everyone in that game was great, but oh my God, is Mbappe gonna end up being like one of the greatest soccer players of all time?
Oh man, yeah.
Jesus Christ, 23 years old. He already won a World Cup last year. 4 years ago, the last World Cup. Yeah. I mean, right. Jesus Christ, the dude is
right. Took him to the finals again. Matched Messi.
He scored every goal for France in that one, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
Jeez.
Like, yeah.
All right. Was there anything else you want to talk about?
Yeah. So I wasn't just calling in about the World Cup. I just picked up on that because you were talking about it a second ago, and just, it was so good. I wanted to talk a little bit about the January 6th report that's been released to the public. Their summary.
Right. I didn't catch too much of it. I did see a little, but go ahead.
Yeah. So I really wanted to talk about it actually because a couple months ago I was catching up with one of my old pals from high school, and he's just not really like into the politics scene, but like was underinformed about January 6th, and there was just nowhere good that I could be like, oh, here's somebody like talking about all the stuff, So I've looked through it. It's about 100 pages long with another 50 pages of references. So I just kind of wanted to hit some of the high points.
Oh, please go ahead. I'm gonna actually just while you do that, I'm gonna give you like a few minutes to do that. I gotta put it on mute because I feel a cough coming on. You might hear it, but the stream won't hear it.
All right.
Because I don't know what's going on with my voice, my throat. I think I'm coming down with a cough or something. But go ahead, please. I want to hear this actually. Do a brief summary though, because I'm trying to take as many calls as possible today.
Yeah. I'll try to keep it quick.
Go ahead.
So it starts off just kind of going. Then on pages 4 through 6, it has the 17 key findings. And a lot of them are kind of things that a lot of us all have already heard about. January 6th, about trying to get the false electors. Trump verified false information in federal court that he incited the mob, bringing them to the Capitol. An interesting one that I thought is the point number 14, that intelligence gathered in advance January 6th that there would not be any left-wing activity. So any kind of it was Antifa is totally conspiracy theory stuff. U.S. intelligence actually showed that left-wing groups were encouraging their people to stay home. And then, so getting into the document, there's this quote from Trump that I just thought was really interesting. Oh, where was it? Oh no, I thought I wrote down the page number, but maybe I wrote down the wrong page. Okay, here it is. So let's see. According to Cassidy Hutchinson, who was a special assistant to the president, there was an exchange he had with Mark Meadows where he said, "I don't want people to know we lost, Mark. This is embarrassing. Figure it out. We need to figure it out. I don't want people to know that we lost." So like, no like, oh, I'm trying to maintain power. Just like purely the embarrassment that he might lose an election is his big driver.
Right.
And like, I'm not like surprised, but it's like, it's still kind of shocking that it's just like salient for him that it's embarrassing.
Yeah, I mean, that's just who he is, you
know? So then pages 17 through 21 of the report have this really interesting table of here's something a witness testified about what they had told Trump and what Trump knew, and then at a later date, Trump contradicting that. So like there's one where he's talking, I think one of the really interesting ones, he's talking to the Georgia Secretary of State, Brad Raffensperger, and Trump says to him, "So I think close to 5,000 dead people voted, and there was so many things, like around 5,000 people." And Raffensperger says to him, "The actual number was two people that were dead that voted, so that's wrong." And then 4 days later, Trump says over 10,000 ballots whose names and dates of birth match Georgia residents who died in 2020 and prior to the election. So from what Trump said to Raffensperger, 2 days later, he's even doubled it after being told like that's wrong. And so like it's just this table side by side of someone told Trump something and then later here's the lie Trump told about it. Just really establishing this pattern that he absolutely knew everything he was saying was wrong and that everyone around him was telling him otherwise. So then just kind of the big headers. Page 22 is the start of the section where they talk about how he decided to obstruct the election count instead of conceding. Page 30 goes into detail about with pressuring the states and trying to get fake electors. Page 5 starts a section about him trying to corrupt the Department of Justice and turn it to his own ends. Page 40 is the start of the section about him summoning the mob to Washington, knowing they were armed and angry, and getting them to march on the Capitol. Page 55 goes into a section, 187 minutes, Trump's dereliction of duty, where, you know, he sat back and watched on TV as people stormed the Capitol. Then page 72 has the immediate aftermath of the January 6th events. And so then after that, it goes into the summary and referrals to, let's see, what is it? Criminal charges?
Yes. So let's end it with this. Who
Yeah.
did they refer to for and for what?
Yeah. Okay. So mostly the referrals are all focused on Trump, and then kind of maybe the around him who helped in those specific acts, but it's mostly Trump. So obstruction of an official proceeding. That he obstructed the election count. Conspiracy to defraud the United States. And they go under each of these, they go into their reasonings for why these are the charges being made. Conspiracy to make a false statement. Incite, assist, or aid and comfort an insurrection.
Oh.
And I think a really interesting part that they actually highlighted here is the committee recognizes that the statute falls under does not require evidence of an agreement between President Trump and the violent rioters to establish a violation of that provision. Instead, he need only have incited, assisted, or aided and comforted those engaged in violence or other lawless activity.
There you go.
So it doesn't matter if Trump thought people were there to do violence. It doesn't matter if he'd planned it with anybody. As long as he said stuff that got them whipped up and angry, that's good enough.
Right. I got to dig into that to see some more of that. Thanks for the call. Really appreciate it.
And then there's just a couple. We're almost to the end.
There's
other conspiracy statutes.
There's more.
Some other ones are
geez.
like they just call it other conspiracy statutes. There's a couple other things with the conspiracy. Then they mentioned they have concerns regarding obstruction of its own investigation, which might violate some other laws. But they don't name anyone who might have done that. They talk about something needs to be done to have accountability for these people so that it doesn't set that precedent that you can get away with it. And then there are 4 members of the House who are referred to the Ethics Committee for failure to comply with subpoenas. Howard McCarthy, Representative Jordan, Representative Biggs, and Representative Perry.
Right, I saw those ones. Right, I saw. Yeah, we'll see what happens.
So,
I don't think the ethics stuff is that big of a deal. Unfortunately, that's like slap on the wrist bullshit.
Yeah, that's probably not the biggest, but
right. Thanks for the call though and the summary. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, you're welcome.
All right, take care.
Have a good night.
Bye.
Bye.
So I thought he was done because there were so many. I haven't been completely paying attention to that. There were some parts I saw like the ethics ones for the Congress people, and I was like, oh come on, that's like nothing. All right, let's take this call. Hey, what's your name? Where are you coming from? Where you? Oh my God. Hey, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey Matt, it's Ryan from Ontario.
Hey, what's Ryan up? From Ontario. I guess coming from makes sense.
Yeah, it does. It does. I am coming from Ontario.
Yeah.
I just wanted to tell you to remember us old chatters since you're blowing up now. No, I am really happy for you, and I am excited that you're on Mastodon because I have finally left Twitter. It's quite good for my mental health not to be on there, so shout out to everybody else who's doing that as well. Yeah, on Mastodon. That's pretty much all I wanted to do is encourage you to stay on there. Yeah, and I also wanted to tell Spocko I'm going to continue to harass him in his replies. Jokingly.
No matter what I end up doing, I'm going to stay on Mastodon. I'm going to treat it like it's going to be a main social media platform for me now. And I'm not going to just cross post. It's going to be for specific content that I feel is for Mastodon that, just like I don't post the same shit I do on Twitter, on Instagram, or the same thing I post on Twitter on YouTube or Twitch. So for sure, Mastodon has a place where I'm gonna continue to post. For Twitter, it's hard because it's just such a different audience. It's not yet, and I don't know if it ever will be. It's not yet taken the place of. It is an alternative with a completely different audience on there right
Yeah,
now.
it's very different, and it is by its very nature like a more left-leaning platform, just because it's decentralized, it's community moderated, it's federated in all these different ways.
Right.
Yeah.
And that also means that I can't be finding pictures of conservatives with Nexia members.
Exactly. So obviously it's important for you to use Twitter to the extent that you have to for your job, but I'm just happy that you're branching out onto Mastodon. It's good for us fans of Matt Binder, I suppose.
I gotta say the next place I really gotta get on is TikTok. I need to finally make the plunge. It's pretty clear. It's pretty clear that that's gonna be where, I mean, it already is, but that is going to be like Twitter is generationally stunted as the place for news. TikTok has become that for Gen Z.
Yeah, for sure.
So I gotta move where the youth of America are, so I can continue to grow my audience well into the future.
Yeah. Best of luck to you, Matt. Hashtag don't forget the true old fans. No, I'm just kidding.
I would never. I would never. In fact, the oldies, no matter what. Let's just say I launch something else. That let's say my newsletter relaunches, which I'm planning on doing. So we can say that because it's going to happen, and I have a separate subscription for that newsletter. The old time patrons and everything, I'm going to make sure you guys have it included with your, as long as you got that old school Patreon subscription going. So you would get a deal that no one else could get because you're the old timers.
Wow, we're exclusive old timers.
Exclusive.
Well, that's hype.
That's just one idea off the top of my head.
All right. Well, I'll let someone else come on here and bother you.
Have a great night.
Have a good night, Matt.
Really appreciate it. Always a pleasure.
Yep. Bye.
All right. I'm sorry. I'm sorry about that. Hey, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Matt, you all right?
I am. I just got a cough. I could feel the tickle in the back of my throat. I see there's about 4 people behind you who keep trying to call in, and some of them are old timers, and I think one of them looks completely new to me. I got to make sure I take these people because they've been calling for so long. So I just gotta power through. I'll do it. So what's up? Which one? Which name are you calling from, and what do you want to talk about?
Josh from California.
Hey,
one of
Josh.
Your older, yes. Hey. So I just wanted to bring up the thing that was sort of left out of the January 6th charging recommendations. Are all of your Roger Stones and Michael Flynn's and Bannon's and all of that. So do you have any thought as to what's coming there? Because frankly, Trump's kind of irrelevant. I mean, they'll find another figurehead.
He is running for president.
Well, sure, but say he ends up in jail, the movement will move on without him.
I think
he's.
I think
he is just.
I think it'd be more likely. I think it'd be more likely that something happens to Steve Bannon or Roger Stone than anything happens to Trump. Honestly.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, I guess that might be true. It just feels like they're sort of not they're still so desperate for this good Republican narrative. We need a strong Republican Party and that they can be saved or whatever narrative that they've been pushing for
ever.
Your girlfriend, in fact, has been pushing for the last 10 years or whatever since the Tea Party formed.
Good old Nancy Pelosi. Oh, how I'll miss her as Speaker of the House. Yeah, I don't know. I guess I don't have any take on that honestly right now. I really have been sort of out of the loop honestly on that one. I don't know. I don't know. Your guess right now is as good as mine.
They're the conspiracy. Like they're the ones who especially Stone, who was coordinating between the Proud Boys and the Oath Keepers, and probably Mark Meadows, but who knows? But I mean, I know, again, like all of this sort of, and Jones is sort of known in all of this, but Alex Jones is sort of where they all come together in the media space.
Right.
Because Stone had a show on Jones's network for a while, and as did too, actually. And so that's kind of where these people all meet each other, or I mean, not meet each other. I'm sure they can talk without him, but they all just seem to somehow he seems to be like an axis in all of it.
Yeah.
So it's
right.
It's very interesting.
Yeah, we'll just have to wait and see, I guess. I don't know if anything more is going to come out of it, honestly, other than what, the people who already have been name dropped. But we'll see, I guess. Is there anything else, or
Yeah, one more.
Oh, go ahead.
One more. How excited are you to see Hunter's dick in the congressional record next year?
It'll be something, that's for sure.
All right,
boy.
man. I hope you feel better.
Have a great night.
Bye.
Oh my God, he's right. I didn't even think of that. Oh my God. All right, I'll take, what time is it? Let's say 2 or 3 more calls. I know it's not going to get everybody in, but 2 or 3 more calls. All right, let's do this. Hey, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, it's Charlie from Washington. You can put me on the screen if you want to.
Sure, yep. Hey, Charlie, what would you talk about?
Well, first of all, I want to say that I would totally wear a Doom shirt, especially if you got a cool metal font or something, wicked looking.
Yeah,
and,
that would probably be something of that nature. Well, maybe more punk than metal, but yeah.
They're both good genres. And I agree with you that Roe v. Wade was pretty shocking, just because I didn't think they had the balls to do it, even with the Supreme Court the way it was, and B, it died officially right on my birthday.
Oh,
so,
for you had a specific right. Okay.
But anyway, I was gonna call about the list in Texas, but Tony already got to it before me, so that means I can skip to the public service announcement. If you happen to be trans and you're looking for what state's safe to come to Western Washington. I was able to get my HRT from Planned Parenthood with just informed consent. I was able to get the gender changed on my license with just like a filled out form and like a small fine. I would say it's like less than $40. If that, I have a motorcycle endorsement on my license, so it's a little more expensive than a regular license anyway. But for now anyway, it's safe. If Biden keeps doing shit like fucking over the railway workers, then God only knows what kind of right wing asshole will get in there and absolutely will do what they're doing down in Texas if they can get away with it. I mean, nothing's off the table since Roe died.
Right.
Yeah. Anyway, I just wanted to get that in real quick. I'll get off and left is best. Fuck the right and take care of that cough, bud.
I will. Yeah, I gotta take some. I took some cough medicine earlier, but I guess I gotta down some more. Thanks a lot for that information. Really appreciate it. It's definitely. I'm sure it'll help. Some people consider certain things. I'm sure. Have a great night.
Yeah, you too, bud.
All right, let's see. Who's next? Hey, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Matt, can you hear me?
I can. Can I pull you up on the feed?
Sure. It's Rem from Oregon.
Hey, Rem. What would you like to talk about?
I'm glad you're getting some recognition. I have to say that.
Thank you.
It's pretty awesome. It's kind of like an honor, right? Like getting Musk all pissed off and shit, and
I
it's
mean, to
great.
be included in that group and know that this was signed off by him specifically. Yeah, it's. I mean, he knows who I am. Let's put it that way. It's not like my tweets were going unnoticed. I mean,
It's great. It's
yeah,
good.
and
It's
I
good.
did it without becoming a right wing Elon simp in his replies. You know.
Right. So then,
Some of those
like,
guys have just got no, I don't know, no self respect. The way they're just like all up in his like tweets, like just like, oh, Mr. Musk, Mr. Musk.
right. The Sims are pretty crazy. So I got Twitter jailed because I was talking about Musk's shit. So I guess it was a link or something. So yeah, I got in trouble with his new policy.
Oh, all right. Would you
So
would you have to delete something?
yeah, and then I have to wait 5 days, but
Oh,
then
you have
I'll
to
be
wait
back
5 days too. Oh.
And then wait, it did say like 5 days. Then we're not really sure. Like it could be longer.
Oh, okay.
What's going on? Just because I linked it, I'm doxing Musk apparently. So whatever. That's just anyway. This whole Twitter thing's pretty funny to me. Watching it collapse. I wanted to call in and talk as quickly as I can. Talk about community defense here in Oregon, and how the trans community is fighting, training, and buying guns. And then there was something interesting that happened.
For self-defense, I
right.
want to be clear for various
Right,
different
for
social
sure.
media policies. Just practicing your Second Amendment rights of
Exactly.
Keeping yourself safe.
So just before I moved here, there was like a new measure coming out called Measure 114, and it was going to make guns much stricter and harder to obtain. And then you're only allowed to have like a 10-round magazine. Like you're only allowed to have 10 round magazines. There's all these limitations, longer waits. And it was going to negatively affect the queer community because we're the most vulnerable, and Nazis want to murder us. And they let me know. They messaged me occasionally on Instagram, just letting me know, just like, hey, we want you dead. Like, okay, all right, that's cool. So it's very frustrating how liberals are voted for this. So it passed, but some judge put a hold on it twice now. So there was like a 10-day hold like 5 days ago. So I don't know. If you're wanting to buy a gun legally, if you want to get yourself a rifle, you're going to have to do it very soon here in Oregon. It's just trans people are we've grown numb to the hate, but we know that it's getting bad. And of course, Musk's not helping, promoting and platforming all these people. But hopefully, the rest of the country just ignores Twitter. It'd be great.
Yeah, I mean the going after trans people from him is just so like, it's just
It's petty.
Yeah, he doesn't even do it. Like it's. I mean, clearly he's got something going on. I know he has.
Well, he got dumped by.
He has a daughter.
He's got a daughter.
I think that probably is honestly more it than anything else.
Right.
Yeah,
right,
I mean,
right.
it's just so petty. I think that's probably his pettiest because it's really not affecting him one iota.
It's weird because like I understand people like him. I've had friends and family members that are just like him and Trump and yay, whatever. They're very egotistical. They make everything about them. They're abusive. They've probably been abused themselves. So they just lash out this way. I don't know. It's just. Right. Then there was an in place of privilege. Like a cousin of mine just had rich grandparents, kind of coasted through life, got everything he wanted.
Right.
Kind of acted like Musk a little bit, but anyway, and so oh my God, here's the thing. I'm trying to be quick here. Then not too long later, I have a friend that I moved here with, and they welcomed me in, and they're very much a gun person. They're a hardcore lefty and anarchist. They own plenty of guns, and they had an article written about them by NPR, and I was pretty proud of them for it.
Oh, I think I might have seen that actually.
It was written by Devin Speak, and it came out December 16th. I was trying to call in to talk about it before it came out, but it's okay. Don't worry about that. So,
It sounds really familiar. I think I saw it. Okay, go ahead though.
And yeah, I was hoping it was gonna get some traction and get people thinking, get people talking that, hey, yeah, the left is armed too. That's what Nazis don't seem to think. They keep forgetting about that. They keep calling us weak and dangerous at the same time, but then they just never think about the ones that are armed and well trained. And there's a lot here in Oregon. And same thing with the last caller. They're right. If you want to be safer, you're gonna have to come over here, if you have the ability to do so. If not, then you're just gonna have to get yourself armed and join a community and get yourself trained. Don't just arm yourself. You have to train. It's very important. So yeah, it's a kind of a short article, but it gets the point across, in my opinion. I suppose I wish it was a little longer, but I was happy that they were just there. They were kind of the star of the show. The article is not necessarily about them, about my friend, but yeah, they had a photographer come over and take some pictures and stuff. So
cool.
It looks great.
Yeah,
it was really cool.
All right. Can you send me that link and I'll be sure to post it. Probably on Mastodon, I guess. Thanks for the call, Rem. I really appreciate it. Good things for people to know, especially people who are the target of a lot of this stuff.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's just the way it be.
Yeah, well, we'll keep fighting back.
Yep, appreciate it. Thanks, man.
Have a great night.
You too.
Oh, all right. I'm sorry. I think I'm gonna take maybe two more. Let's see. Hey, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, well.
Dave from Jamaica.
Yeah, on BBC.
Oh, you saw it? You saw it?
Yeah, I saw it. Can't answer old Dave's call.
I just did. What are you talking about?
Just kidding. But,
did you try to call me other than that?
No, yeah, I was called. But I know you get like tons of calls at the same time, so I can imagine.
Oh, I thought you meant maybe because weren't you coming here? Weren't you coming to the States?
Well, live from New York, I am here.
Oh, you are. How long you here for?
I will be in New York for about 4 days, and I'll come back for to watch the ball drop and all of that.
Okay. So maybe that's when I could we could say hello or something.
Oh, you're busy for the?
Well, no, it's just a rough couple of days before Christmas because of the kids with school, and then they're gonna be home. We'll see. Let's figure it out. We'll definitely figure something out. You definitely will definitely have to meet up at least for maybe like a bite to eat or something before you head back to Jamaica.
No problem. Also, Mr. Matt,
can you do me a favor? Can you email me? Because otherwise we're gonna forget about it. You got to email me.
This, but you haven't checked it. That's why I couldn't send you the sodas.
You did send me an email?
Yeah, my email is on this the chat logs for this thing.
All right, I'm gonna look it up. I'm gonna email you back right after the show.
No problem. So, what I was going to say is, since Elon seems to have some definitely some insecurity issues with that poll. What was his statement on that poll that resoundedly everybody telling him to go away?
He didn't say anything for a while, and then all of a sudden tonight, I believe, he made a statement. I will resign as CEO as soon as I find someone foolish enough to take the job. After that, I will just run the software and servers teams.
Oh, please. Oh my goodness. But I'll make it quick because you have lots of calls to go through and stuff, and I don't want to keep you up too late. So, as Twitter, I think, will die, Musk is guaranteeing it. He's trying to just damage it till it's a 4chan. Just remember, and I'm probably stealing this from somebody, beyond based and cringe, there is a clearing, and Matt Binder will meet you there.
That's
All
good.
right.
I like that. Thank you. I appreciate that. Always a pleasure to talk with Dave from Jamaica, and I can't wait to see him. We definitely gonna do it. We definitely gonna meet up. Let's see. Jeez, there was like 5 people who just tried to call in, and I missed it all. Let's see. Whoever calls in next, I'll take your call, and then we'll take it from there. We'll just take it from there. Let's see. Hey, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
Oh, wow. I actually got through. Wow. Yeah, this is Fred from Michigan.
Hey, Fred. What would you like to talk about?
So I hope you're not too musked out here. And also, I haven't seen all of your episodes. Did you see the tweet where Elon Musk basically asked people to just post CSAM?
Oh, yeah, where he said, if you see anything, send it to me.
Ah, dang it. You already saw it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of incredible just how
I mean, I know what he
little
meant. I know what he meant, but he obviously wasn't thinking it through.
Yeah, I don't think he literally
That's not like,
wanted
it's not like,
that
yeah,
outcome.
it's not like he was
It's
like,
just-
oh, give me, I want to see it. He was like, he meant he will deal with it, but of course that's not how he's supposed to deal with that stuff. He's supposed to
Yeah.
report it via an internal system, and also then you should probably, for sure, report it to even past just the platform. Honestly, you should alert.
Yeah, and CMEC has a cyber tip line that you
Yes.
can use for that, as well as anything else that's similarly sussy. But it is just incredible how little this guy knows about the platform that he just bought.
Mm-hmm.
And on top of that, just the people that work child safety, I'm sure you've read, have pretty much been cut.
Right. Well,
While
he's also claiming he's got experts who are claiming that he's doing more than ever before when it comes to, child, CSAM material, child abuse material on the platform. I mean,
He's so much like Trump in that way. Trump also made a lot of bold claims about sex trafficking during his time in office.
I mean, it really does come across like that, honestly. It comes across like the QAnon stuff. It really does. It comes across like directly.
Good thing he's embracing the QAnon stuff fully then, isn't it?
It really comes across like a straight up dog whistle to those guys. The way they talk about it.
Yeah.
Because
It's
again,
so
people-
much
the actual
performative.
respected organizations out there who have been working in this area for decades, they don't talk about it the way they do. It's just not.
Yeah.
It's just not done that way. It's not how it's handled. It's very bizarre.
Yeah, people who've actually worked in those areas generally don't they're not the type for bluster. They tend to be matter of fact and fairly frank when you get down to it. But darn, yeah, I must have missed when you covered that.
No, it's all good. No, don't worry about it. I've been,
Yeah.
it's been a lot. I got 2 shows, and then I do streams sometimes that aren't the actual 2 shows. like on Friday night, I did a stream when Elon Musk's poll ended because I thought it'd be funny to capture it like on a stream. I don't worry. I put out too much, and I'm looking to put out even more. So that I don't expect anyone to call in knowing every little bit of the Binder multiverse.
Yeah. But my friend who's actually called before has let me know that apparently Tesla's stock is approaching.
It's under 140 right now. It's like 137 or something. Yep.
It's apparently approaching the point where there's something called a margin call, where basically Elon's creditors basically tell him, okay, well, leverage time is over, and now you got to sell all of this.
It's probably why he came out tonight with that that CEO tweet finally.
Yeah, I know very little about stocks, so if you actually press me on details, I'm just gonna
don't worry about it.
Reveal how little I know.
No, I honestly didn't know that much either until like last year when I had to learn about it because obviously I wanted to do crypto stuff, and it's you gotta know this stuff too. But also with the GameStop, AMC, like the meme stock stuff, that was like directly in this whole world as well, crypto, and there is a lot of right-wing ties in this stuff, a lot of overlap. So I was forced to learn about it. Trust me, I'm not an expert in that area either.
Yeah, I kind of hate it when circumstances in the news kind of force me to learn about things that I never wanted to learn about. Do you understand? Like, just the whole argument over trans people in sports led to me reading more about sports than I had ever before that point.
Right.
And I hold that against people that force that issue.
Right. Yeah. Thanks for the call.
Yeah, thank you.
Have a great night.
You have a good night.
This is the first time you called in?
Mm-hmm.
All right, yeah, I could usually tell. Please, because it's a new voice. Please do feel free to call in again. A great call.
I mean, I had to hold off on creating a Skype account to do this, so.
Well, you got it made now. Should be easy.
Yeah, I got it made now.
Should be easy to call in now. All right, have a great night.
All right, have a good one.
All right, I'll take. I see there's specifically one or two people. Oh, hey, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, this is Nathan from the Chicago area. How are you?
Hey, Nathan. What would you like to talk about?
I was just wondering what kind of wrestling you've been watching recently.
I have not been watching much wrestling lately. Honestly, I think the last show I caught. Oh my God, I can't remember. It was probably.
You've been busy.
It was the WWE pay-per-view, the one with the War Games match, which was fantastic.
I'm loving the storytelling with Sami Zayn going on.
I don't know where it's at right now, but that match was. I have not seen WWE do storytelling like that in a match in a really long time. It was really well done.
I think people are suggesting that possibly like WrestleMania ends up Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens versus the Usos, because they're still pushing for Cody Rhodes or The Rock to win the Royal Rumble.
I'm almost hoping they don't do it that way. I think they should go a full another year with Sami Zayn. Take it to next WrestleMania. Take it to WrestleMania 2024. Honestly, I'm being serious. The Sami Zayn stuff is gold.
Like I enjoy it. I enjoy the long run, but I see people are fickle about short term. Like, people are really quick to be judgmental about wrestling when it's like a week to week thing. It's like, let the story play out.
Hey,
but like
WCW built up that Sting Hogan feud for over a year before finally letting them even have a match with each other. So I mean, I honestly think that's the way to do it. There's too much wrestling on TV. You got hours and hours and hours of wrestling
But that's
every
cool.
week.
That's my thing, though.
No, but you got hours and hours and hours every week. So if you keep pulling the trigger and making feuds so short, you're gonna run out of so much shit. You just gotta, and then that's when you get WWE going back to the same old feuds, the same old matches, the same old storylines. You gotta let stuff go on longer and play out longer, build it up, and then give us the big, huge payoff a year, even longer down the line.
I'm a big fan of like independent wrestling stuff too. So like I'll go to like this. I'm in Chicago, so like there's like three, at least I can follow like 3 or 4 wrestling company. I could really follow like multiple if I'm willing to go to Chicago suburbs. So it's like, I can get my fill there, which like the small independent ones I equate to like those who haven't watched wrestling before. It's kind of like the Rocky Horror Picture Show in some environments.
Right.
Especially in like bar-like environments. So
Right.
that's how I've been getting my fill as of late.
Right.
There's a person on the indies, like also in Impact Wrestling. Impact Wrestling's been pretty good this year. Like I'd say Impact Wrestling is now uploading full matches on YouTube, and so like they have some of the best product of the year. They have their champion Josh Alexander, used to be in a tag team with Ethan Page. They were called the North, and they're like one of the long reigning tag champs they had. Has had a pretty good world title run, and they just go against Speedball Mike Bailey, who this is the first year he's been allowed to wrestle in the United States because he got visa issues and was like banned for 5 years, and now he's like finally back. He's in like the independent stuff. He just had this really good match against a guy named Brian Keith, who's really on the rise. If you like the Eddie Kingston style of wrestlers, I'm a big fan of Brian Keith too. He's worth checking out. So like independent wrestling, like a lot of free matches on YouTube are checking out these days too.
Oh yeah, definitely, absolutely. Listen,
I
you
also
should call.
think
You should.
if you join
No, go ahead.
oh sorry, if you join TikTok, I think you would probably find some good like wrestling content
Yes,
to just like
I was thinking
probably
that
take up
too,
your
yeah.
time too.
Yeah. Thanks for the call. Definitely call in again another night and we could talk longer about wrestling. It's just that I gotta start wrapping up the show.
Oh, understood.
Have a
Take
great
care
night.
of the cough and
Always
everything.
love doing the
Have
wrestling
a great night.
calls though. Have a great night.
I appreciate.
Oh, I'm sorry. There's specifically 2 people who've been trying to call in that I want to make sure they get in because they're regular callers, and I want to say hello to them before the holidays. Let's see here. Hey, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
G'day, Matt. It's John from Australia. Always one of the last callers and keeping you up.
Hey, John. I'm gonna actually drop the because I didn't get to do Sunday's crypto show, the Scam Economy show because of everything that was going on. But I have it recorded now. I was gonna drop it tomorrow and then do a short call-in stream tomorrow. So if this is about crypto and you're available tomorrow, you want to do it tomorrow?
It's actually not about crypto.
Perfect. Then go ahead.
It's about Elon, or more specifically, sort of social media in general today.
Sure.
And I'll explain sort of my piece, and then I'll leave it to you, and I'll jump off. It also gives you a chance to mute and cough and grab some water if you need.
Thank you. Yes, I'll do that right now. Go ahead.
So this is something I've seen a lot of folks grappling with, including myself. The fact that social media has kind of undeniably changed since the late 2000s. And I think what we've seen with Elon's Twitter is it's pretty clear how they operate, how they've always kind of operated. It's just a little bit more out in the open and perhaps more haphazard and wrong-footed at times. But we're seeing, I think, behind the curtain to a certain extent, much more so than the Twitter files, at least. So there's a lot of talk that I see about staying on Twitter, not ceding Twitter to the right, saving Twitter, taking back Twitter, finding a new Twitter or something like that. But personally, I can't say that notion is something that I find particularly appealing. So to clarify, I know that a lot of people have come to rely on Twitter for their jobs, journalists like yourself, artists, etc. A lot of people have had access to opportunities they wouldn't have been able to get access to otherwise. And, on top of that, people have vastly different relationships with Twitter and social media as a whole. You have a very different relationship to Twitter than someone like I do. So there's a lot of nuance in this discussion. I think we're adults and we can have this conversation. But that said, I can't say I'm particularly convinced by that sort of line of argument. It feels like that drill tweet: the drunk driving may kill people, but it helps people get to work on time. So who's to say if it's good or bad? The things that I see when I look at social media are the fact that it turns regular people into absolutely unhinged monsters. So people sort of reading a few words that someone's posted online, then filling in the gaps about what kind of person that they think they are, without regard for who they are, their politics, where they're from, as in what country, et cetera, et cetera. Misinformation and radicalization are arguably easier than ever. And you can radicalize people without actually having to talk to them directly. You can sort of radicalize them ambiently through things like, the quote algorithm. Opens up regular people torrents of harassment, stalking, all that sort of thing. I think it's undeniable that something like Kiwi Farms would be significantly less effective without large-scale social media. Massive data collection, so images scraped for images to train image generation AI, facial recognition, social media used for surveillance, etc. Effectively, it functions as a large-scale tool that corporations and the state can use to make money and track and oppress people for free. They didn't actually have to implement anything themselves. And we are perpetually beholden to rules created by oligarchs. So my thought and position here is, or my question, I guess, that I've been grappling with is, what is it that we're trying to save? Do we even want it, as in monolithic social media, world-scale social media? Is it healthy? So is that model worth even trying to preserve and continue on?
It's a great question. I mean, the model is not good. It's not ideal. Unfortunately, it's what we've got right now. I know Mastodon's probably the closest to like a thing that's not like that technically, but I just don't see it getting. I mean, it's definitely growing. I definitely see it as something that's going to fit in that space. It could definitely be like a major platform, but it's not going to replace anything. Do you know what I mean? Like
no, exactly, right? Like Twitter is a platform where I can post something, and within like a second, someone on the other side of the world can just see it, can have it put onto their feed for whatever reason, right? Like there's attempts to make other social media platforms, it's been mentioned in the call, like Mastodon, for example, that I think to a certain extent try to replicate parts of Twitter. But I can't say that I find that appealing either. Like my current sort of thinking and my current sort of like my next steps, I guess, is that, well, maybe I just don't go on Twitter anymore. I don't have a Facebook account. I don't use Instagram. I don't use any of these things. Maybe I just don't know anymore. Like if I need to, figure out news, like figure out what's going on. I've got like I'm lucky I live in Australia, so I've got a state-funded media organization that is at times a bit disappointing, but largely it's pretty good. They do a lot of good reporting that is particularly critical of the government, which is great. It's great to have a government run media organization that is critical of the government. And I think that I've got a pretty good understanding of how to process news, right? Like I'm not a person who was convinced by COVID conspiracies or QAnon or whatever it is. So I'm just, I guess, and again, this comes down to like different people have different relationships with it, with social media, but like I think I'm a kind of normal, regular person. I'm not really seeing what I'm getting out of it, right? Like I'm putting in a lot and I'm getting nothing. I just get like a random tweet from someone that says like, screw you, leftist freak or whatever every now and then.
Right. Well, you don't see that on Mastodon, actually. Not yet, at least. I'm sure maybe it'll end up happening. But yeah, I mean, it's weird, the dynamics that we have here on social media and how we like defend it as if it's something that people enjoy when it makes a lot of people miserable. I don't know. I think you asked really good questions that I just don't have answers for, honestly. I think I don't know. I actually hear TikTok's a pretty positive place in terms of the people on there and like the following they build for each. I mean, I'm sure it gets pretty toxic with some like the influencer culture bullshit, but like, you know, I hear that like I've always heard that like Twitter is the platform that some celebrities hate the most because there's no way to really like wall off haters the way they can on like Instagram, where they could really have a control over the comments on their photos, or like, you know, other platforms where they can control who actually even sees their profile or their content. Twitter has always been an issue for people, I think, specifically Twitter.
Oh, definitely. And the thing is that I think the model that we're talking about, corporate large scale social media, is always going to be is always going to tailor their experience to suit people like that. Like I think the Twitter verification system used to be that well, now it's just that everyone has the verified tab in their notifications, but it used to be that you would only see notifications from verified people if you wanted to. They had a more and again, not the case now, it hasn't been for a couple of years, but I think they used to have a more stringent notification filter in place than regular people on Twitter did. So like they would never get the fire hose. They just wouldn't see it. They wouldn't see all those horrible messages. So like that's the thing that I'm grappling with. And I when you say that it's a question that you don't have an answer to, like, well, that's fine. Like we can ask questions that we don't need to have the answers to. That's all well and good, right? Like that's perfect. Because it means that, you know, we can think about it and come to a more considered or reasonable opinion on the nature of the actual question itself.
Right. Yeah. No, absolutely. I always love when you call in, John, because you always bring such, you know, I mean, usually you come with the answers, but this time you come with great questions, in terms of when you call into scam economy and you have like this background on something that just like came up in passing. Yeah, I mean, I think we all really need to really think about what we want our internet to be, especially now that it's more integrated in our everyday real life experiences. You know, it just, you know, it's not what it used to be. It's not like, oh, I'm going online, gonna fuck around, troll people in a chat room and, then go about my day. Like, that's just like a completely different thing. Like, it's like playing a video game for an hour or something. I mean, that's not,
absolutely.
It's not what it is anymore. It's literally people's lives. It's their livelihoods in some way, in many instances. It is who they are. It is what they are and what they do. It is them. It is not like the separation anymore between like internet and real life. We can say, as slang in real life to mean like offline, but no, internet is real life now. People meet their future partners online. People get killed because who they meet online. I mean, the internet is real life.
Yeah, absolutely, right. And you think about how we used to think about late 2000s social media, right? Think about like Facebook and all that sort of thing, like how people used to use it, right? It was, you talk to your friends, like you used your real name. Like it was sort of like unthinkable to have like a moniker and all that sort of stuff, early social media, right? But I think that carried those behaviors to a certain degree, ended up carrying over into a space, or we carried them over while the parts of this space fundamentally changed around us. And things like large-scale surveillance of people's internet presences, even small-scale surveillance of internet presences, like doxing and stalking and all that thing. Like, we have given quite a bit of ourselves over to the internet. And I just, I find it difficult to reconcile. I find it difficult to reconcile with the fact that like we should stay with this model. It's just, fascinating. But look, I've taken up too much of your time already, and
it's an absolute great conversation. But maybe we could talk a little bit longer about it next time, for sure.
All good.
Have a good one, mate. Have a great afternoon, John from Australia.
Spot on. Have a great night, mate.
Take
Cheers.
care. All right. Some of the people who are waiting on the line to call, they said they'll call in tomorrow because I'm going to do Scam Economy tomorrow because I can't do it. I meant to do this one on Sunday, but couldn't because of everything going on. And I'm not doing it next Sunday because next Sunday is Christmas. So I'm going to be fitting in Scam Economy tomorrow. Have a great episode, by the way, with Molly White. And then after, maybe we'll do like an hour calls if my voice can do it tomorrow night too. So if you didn't get to call in now, we'll do the calls tomorrow. Keffels gave me a wonderful raid just now. Hello, Keffels viewers. Thank you so much. I'm sorry you jumped in at the last minute here. I'm just closing up the stream. I'm gonna read some, but stick around if you want until I send you to the next raid location. I'm just gonna read some super chats, some Twitch chats, and then that's the show. Renee with the super chat. This could be a sequel to the Social Network film talking about the Twitter bans. Thank you, Renee. Let's see who else is here. We got. Excuse me, I got this cough. Jeez. Is your guy with a super chat? Super chat time, folks. Get him in. Thank you so much. Mariah with 2 super chats. Love this new interstitial music. Oh, there you go, Renee. Happy holidays, everyone. Can I get a woot for my engagement? Whoa, of course you can. Congratulations, Mariah. Here you go. There you go, and I'll give you one of these. We'll give you, I don't know what that was. And then there we go. And,
yeah, baby.
What else do I got here? No, that's it. That's all the sound effects. I need to load up some more sound effects. All right, let's go to, Spasticus. Whoa. $50 super chat. Thank you so much, Spasticus. Really appreciate that. Nothing important to ask. Work is feast and famine and kicking in while I can. Cheers. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Really do. Let me now go over to... Oh, let me shout out Justin W., the latest patron, the one who got us over into the 400s. We got 400 patrons now. Thank you so much. Really appreciate all the support from all my patrons. Let's see. Let's go over to Twitch. Let's go through the... Oh, there was a... Keffels and Dylan Burns. Thank you to the both of you so much for the raids tonight. Cutthroat 1789 cheered 200 bits. Thank you so much, Cutthroat. Oh, and then another 300. Thank you, Cutthroat. And then another 500. Thank you so much, Cutthroat. Jeez. And then gifted a 1-month tier 1 sub to 2 Bueller. Whoa, thanks again, Cutthroat. And then Cutthroat gave out 10 community gift subs. And then Cutthroat subscribed for 1 month at tier 1 themselves. Oh my God. Thank you so much, Cutthroat. Really appreciate it. 2 Bueller with the 500-bit cheer too. Thank you so much. That gave me the hype train. Ezekiel Mordecai, resubscriber Prime, subscriber for 7 months. Robot Monkey Cat, subscribed with Prime. Subscribed at tier 1 for a month. Subscriber for 13 months, over a year. Wishing everyone a happy rest of the year and a happier new year. Thank you so much, Robot Monkey Cat. And that also started another separate hype train. Daredevil, resubscribe at Prime, subscriber for 7 months. Mudge is my pug, give out 5 community gift subs. Tiny Panda 3, resubscribe at Prime. 7-month-long subscriber, I should say. Tim Bob RN gave out a community gift sub. Thank you so much. Let's see. Patatio 4, subscribe at Prime. Princess Monocle, resubscribe at Prime, 5-month subscriber. Thank you so much. Hang Glider Breakfast, subscribe at Prime. Thank you all so much for the support. Really, really appreciate it. And Tubular, another 300 bits as we end this stream. Who should I raid, everyone? Who's on right now? And don't forget, Scam Economy tomorrow night. The episode with Molly White. Fantastic episode on FTX. It is fun. It is funny. It is informational. It is everything you need to know about FTX since the last episode of FTX that we did on FTX on Scam Economy. And then I'll go live a little bit, much shorter, post show than the Doomed post show that we're doing right now. But I'll go live tomorrow night. And then I believe there's a Leftist Mafia on Thursday. I'm doing Majority Report on Thursday. I'm doing the Kyle Kulinski Crystal Ball show. They invited me on to talk about everything that's been going on. And then as far as I know, I unless anything else comes up, it's the holidays. Happy holidays. Happy holidays. Yeah, who should I raid? Let's see who's on right now. I'm looking at let's see. Oh, Kowalski with a super sticker. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it, Kowalski. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Kowalski is one of the people who said they were going to ring me tomorrow. Let's raid. All right, let's do a Homozy Goat. I don't think I've raided. I mean, I definitely have raided Homozy Goat, but I don't think I've raided them recently. Let me double check to make sure. Ugh, I got an ad. All right, I'm gonna raid. Yeah, I'll raid Homozy Goat. I've definitely not raided them in a while. Let me do that now. All right, everyone. I really appreciate all the support. If you can, patreon.com/MattBinder to support this show. If you can subscribe to the Patreon, that would be great. If you can't, I totally understand. Take care of yourself, your family, your own situation, or even if you're financially fine and don't want to give me your money, that's cool too. But if you do want to give me your money, make sure you can. I don't want to, it's just to grow the show. I'm not dependent on it for like my live, like my to live. I have a day job, but I would love to be able to completely sustain off of this show eventually, and just be able to do this show full time, do more content like this full time. So patreon.com/MattBinder. Also subscribe to the YouTube channel, youtube.com/MattBinder, twitch.tv/MattBinder. Give me that Twitch Prime subscription if you would like to. Also, follow me. All social media platforms, Matt Binder. I'm on Mastodon right now. I'll probably, my Twitter is not, it's up. You could see it. You could follow me there too. But I am currently locked out. I will likely unlock myself over the next, few days. I'm still mulling it over. I will see you all next time on Doomed.